two brothers and gamers that have been playing games since the early 1980s. Combined, they have over 65 years experience. Join them each week as they discuss and rant about gaming and entertainment news. This is Generation X Gaming.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another week, another episode of Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week, and we rant along the way. I'm your host, 30 and Still Gaming, and joining me each and every single week is Sgt McClusky. What's going on, Sarge?
Busy week.
It's always a busy week. It's always a fast week. We're already 7 days into March, right? It's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't play a lot of games this week because I was following the whole crypto thing. So I wasn't playing a lot of games.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Those of you in the crypto market, we're not advisors in any way, shape, or form, but I'm pretty happy with what happened. So pretty good. Pump it, pump. So Generation X Gaming weekly podcast goes over a few of the top stories of the past week, and we rant along the way. We're here live Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can listen to us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor.fm. And all the episodes should be up and up to date on Anchor.fm, iTunes, Google Play, all the places. So make sure you go give us a listen, a viewership, a like, a subscribe, and if you'd like to go above and beyond it, become a member as little as $5. All right, so on today's show, Sarge, we're going to be talking about Fortnite. The Lego had a little update. We're going to talk about that. I kind of predicted what they were doing with Lego Fortnite. What? You forgot the green screen. It's fine. I thought you did it on purpose. So the Lego is doing something that I predicted they would do when they first came into the game. It makes sense. So we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about EA. Electronic Arts has put some 9 classic games onto Steam. We're going to talk about Boosteroid and Xbox merging after they made the announcement a couple months ago. They finally put that out there. We're going to talk about Rooster Teeth a little bit. We're going to talk about Warner Brothers Discovery decides to double down, maybe even triple down on what type of games they're going to make. We're going to talk about what else we got here? Oh, we're going to talk about Ghost of Tsushima, just a little smidgen. We're going to talk about Dune Awakening. They had like a video that played. We're going to watch that video a little bit and talk about Dune Awakening a little bit because me and Sarge, a lot of people don't know this, but we were huge MMO fans back in the day. We kind of broke free from it because of the way MMOs kind of went. But Dune Awakening sounds like it would be an MMO that we would actually like and whatnot. So we'll talk about that. And we're also going to talk about the Fallout TV series. That the new trailer came out today. We'll show the trailer. We won't play any audio on it, but we'll show the trailer and we'll talk about what we think about that. And we're going to talk about what games we've been playing and anything else along the way. So if you like it, hit that like button down below. First up, what we've been playing. All right, Sarge, another week. What kind of games you've been playing this past week? I know 2 games that you played this week, at least with me. So was there any other game before you played those 2 games?
Mostly I've been I don't know why I have a wild hair about playing Division 2 again, but I kind of was thinking about a build in my head for some strange reason, and I went looking for the build. And so now I found the proper build that I wanted, which is throwing the multiple mines out every 10 seconds. So
basically you don't shoot your gun.
I'm an explosive build. It's just basically if I'm bored, I throw out the artillery thing. But meanwhile, I'm just throwing out the mines every 10. I've got it to where it's every 10 seconds.
Every 10 seconds, you're throwing out a mine.
Well, there's a buff that happens because of the gear I'm wearing. That if I catch it right, I can throw once every 5 seconds for 30 seconds, and then after that, it's once every 10 seconds. So it's basically throw the mine, put the thing down, throw the mine, pick it up, throw the mine, put it down, throw the mine, pick it up.
Yeah, but how much time after you hit after the 30 seconds, and then it goes to 10 seconds? How long until it refreshes before you can get that 5 seconds back?
If I the cooldown in between is 10 seconds. So you have to catch it right when you put down the other
So it's
skill.
drop it every 5 seconds for 30 seconds. Then it's 10 seconds, and then it's a refresh after 10 seconds, and then you can do the 5 seconds again.
If I do it properly, right? If I throw the grenades,
okay,
then I throw the other skill.
Okay.
Then I can throw the grenade again.
You can throw a grenade again, right?
But then if I walk over and I destroy this
I got you.
thing,
Picked it up,
right? I can throw the game. I can throw them again.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah.
That seems like
I was playing the legendary mission for the day.
Don't make any videos on that because they'll nerf it.
It's been on for 5 years. But they're not gonna nerf it. I was trying to do the legendary with a bunch of people, and it's one of those things where the legendary is just so the AI becomes so cheese after a while. There's certain guys that come out, and if you don't have enough DPS, that you're caught in a corner, and if you die during the legendary thing, you start from the beginning. That's one of those things. So like remember the
boss
incredibly hard raid, the incredibly hard raid in Destiny. If you lose, you go back to the beginning, you start over. Yeah. Same thing. So I haven't found a group that can actually do it. I guess this week's is kind of hard because it's close quarters and the guys run up on you, so it's very hard. You need a lot of DPS.
I hate when they run up on you. The NPC knows, like when they run up to you, it knows that you can't do anything to them, and it just runs up to you and then like punches you, drops something in front of you, and you're just like, this is fucking stupid at that point. Because
but that's not the one that bothers me. What bothers me is the drone guys. They launch out the drones. And so all you hear is beep, 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 and then they blow up on you. So it's like a constant stream of that. And if you don't have the defensive turrets up, they get through. And so you just go down. And it becomes aggravating. Yes, it's challenging, but it becomes aggravating. That's the other part about it, though, is I know why certain people are still playing this game because they enjoy that type of challenge.
Well, yeah, because everything in the game is viable. Yeah, every build in this game is viable to do something.
Some more than others,
sure.
But the way that the difficulty is scaled, that if I have a skill build, right, and I'm not very good at skill build. I just started skill build. Let's say if I spec out for skill build and I just use the turrets. The turret and the drone, right? If I just use that, I can do pretty much anything on my own as long as I'm spec'd out correctly.
Right.
Now, you can optimize by doing expertise level or finding the mods that buff you up a little bit more. So maybe you get like a 15% or 20% boost over time. But picking those two, you're fine. When you start going away from those and like you want to do chem launcher or you want to do the explosives or like it becomes a more fine-tuned type of thing to understand what you have to do with the skills and the stats in order to do the same damage that the turrets would do, but you don't do it consistently.
Right.
So I give credit because when you're looking at builds that way and everything's viable, that means somebody actually played the game. And it means that somebody actually tried to use those skills to see what would happen. Now, are some better than others? Yes.
Well, that comes down to a math equation. You know what I mean?
Well, it's significant if you're skilled enough in the build that you're creating.
Sure.
Yes, the number could be drastic, right? Because two people could have the same build, and one does a lot more DPS than the other because he understands what he has to do to proc the abilities. Like you talk about the layers of the onion and the pyramid thing, like how much stuff you can do.
Yeah, the upside down pyramid. Right. Yeah.
Well, the skills involved in the game, you have the basics at the bottom, right? And the closer you get to the top, the more you have to be fine tooth on how to get to where you need to be. Like I need to be at this, and this. Now, let's say I'm running at 80%. Now, great, I'm 80% of my total possibility. Then I have to go find the same piece of gear again, right? But I have to find it with a perfect roll so I can then change the talent because it's genius how they did this. Your initial gear finds is you just finding the ones that work with you, right? So you find the ones that work with you, but you don't care about the talent. So you level it up. So now you have a max piece of gear. The talent's decent, but it doesn't like synergize, right? So now you have maxed out gear, but their talents are not synergized. So now you're looking for the same gear you just have that has the that has the spots, the attributes that you wanted that you don't have to change, then you level it up and then you change the talent. When you reach when you reach that level and you have all 6 pieces and the 3 pieces that have the talents, you can.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Well, that's also that's a lot of hours into to get to that point.
Well, that's why you see people that are 23,000 level.
I know.
I saw somebody the other day at 31,000 level.
I saw the highest I saw personally was 18,000. 18,000.
Yeah, dude. It's like I finally got it a couple years back. I understood it, but until you start playing it, like excuse the term, like religiously, like you're on like every couple days or every day. It's the way that the game is constructed. It's like if you try to go for the talent right away, you're gonna be underpowered trying to do content that doesn't give you better gear. So you want to be able to play that challenging and heroic content as soon as possible. So in order to do that, you have to find the attributes that jive with the build that you want first. So if I want to be DPS, I'm going all red. I want red, red, red across the board, all DPS. And then when I get all the red, then I go back and I try to find those pieces of gear, but I get the ones that have the stats that I already want on it, so I don't have to tweak it. And then I tweak the talent, because in the game, the way that the game kind of fiddles with you is you have the 3 attributes. You have your weapon skill, you have the attribute, and then you have like the bonus, the talent, right? And so you can change one thing. You can change one thing. So if I don't like the weapon thing, I can change that. Now, once I change it, that's it. I can't change the talent. I can't do anything else. I'm stuck with whatever it has.
Yeah, but you could always level up the gear though to max though.
Yes, you can level up the gear. So in that essence, you can get good gear quickly if you focus, because of the fact that
correct.
The thing that
but
you
the god
about,
roll,
what is it called? Specific loot. What the hell? The thing you're always talking about. My brain is fried.
Now you brought it up, and now targeted loot.
Targeted loot, right? Yeah. So the game has targeted loot. Perfect, right? So you wake up one day like I did, and I want explosives, and then I look through the armor list, and I go, that's what I want, and then I just go to the map, and I go, that's where I got to go.
Yeah, and you just farm that area. Yeah, you just farm that area.
Farm it,
or you can go to the summit and just farm the summit, right?
I'm a little ass backwards at the moment. I'm at the top floor for the summit, but I can't beat the rogues. I can't beat the rogues. But I wanted to restart. I know there's a way to restart it, but I haven't figured it out yet. How to just restart it? Just go back down to 1. I gotta look.
I don't know.
All right. So besides that one, I've been playing the crap out of Brotato.
Still playing Brotato. We're like 3 weeks in now.
I have about 75% of the characters unlocked now. I'm close. I'm close to getting everything unlocked. That game is hard. Once you get past the midway part, it's hard. Like you have to. You try to balance. People try to play that game. I was watching it. You try to balance.
How do you win?
Stats.
How do you win?
You can't balance the stats. You can't balance the stats. You have to pick something that you're going to go for and go for that. Like if you want a melee build, then you spec out everything melee, and you go for the bonuses for melee. Right? You can't go.
You can't mix.
Over here.
You can't mix.
You're trying to you want all because they tease you. They have all your stats on the right hand side. And the ones that are below are red, and the ones that are good are green. So your brain goes, I got too many red. I got to get those into the green. But there's only so many levels.
Yeah.
There's only so many levels that you can advance. So if you're wasting time putting points into things because you don't like the color red on your stat sheet, you're not going to make it. Right? You're not going to make it. But you need speed. Right? I go for range stuff. So you need speed, you need range damage, and you need fire rate. If you get those 3 things and then go for the bonuses, you'll do well. Melee's decent, but even when you have melee, they only swing a certain amount of time. So when there's a giant pile of guys on you, you have to make sure your speed's up, or you have dodge really high, one or the other. Right. Otherwise, you don't make it.
They'll break through. Yeah.
And then we played Sea of Thieves, and I got to tell you, that's a fun game.
Yeah, but tell him how you played Sea of Thieves.
Well, we played what is it? The friendly version.
Well, no. How did you play it? Like, how did you play it?
What do you mean?
You didn't download the game.
I got it. Okay, so yes, I played Sea of Thieves. I did not have it downloaded, so I said, "Hey, look, It says I can play on the cloud.
Yeah, well, first of all, right, my son's like, hey, can Uncle Jim play the game? And I said, I don't know if he can. He's like, well, does he have the game? I said, I don't think he has the game. And then my son goes, well, he can play it off the cloud. And I went, okay. So then I called him up. I'm like, can you play Sea of Thieves? And the first thing out of his mouth was, I don't have it installed. I said, well, you can play it off the cloud. And he goes, all right, I'll be on in a second. Right. And then we got on and we started playing. And he's like, this is actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah. It's a fun game. It's just a fun game. It does teach you a bunch of things though. It's not just a game. You're actually being taught how to sail.
I know it's
like you're taught how to sail.
I'm telling you, it's a fantastic game. I'm really glad that more people get to play this game, and I'm really happy about the safer seas in that game. Like
that's what it's called.
The safer seas is a fantastic time while you're playing with younger people that don't want to. Obviously, if there's younger people that want to play PvP and whatnot, sure, but just to explore and take your time. We were doing pirate ship battles and we're getting to the forts and we're doing it's a grand old time. Oh, Big T, you have no idea. My son, he can wiggle his way into anything. He's a talker, man. People are gonna be in trouble when he gets older. That's all I'm saying. He can wiggle his way into anything. So what did you think, Sarge, about the combat and about the because you haven't played Sea of Thieves? It's got to be like 3 years, 4 years.
I don't know if it's 3 years.
Oh,
it just seems like a long time.
It's a long time since you played.
It seems that way. I don't think it's that long. There was a little bit of tearing. Like there's a lot of stuff going on in the game, like the way the ocean. So I was playing on the cloud. It wasn't too bad. Like it really wasn't too bad at all. I like the combat. I enjoy when you have to work together. Those pirate boats are no joke, bro.
Yeah, they're fun.
You have those pirate ships are no joke. You have to get on. You have to be on. You can't just kind of lollygag into it because they circle you. They try to ram you. There's all kinds of stuff that they try to do.
Yeah,
but the AI is pretty.
You have to have a good captain to keep that boat off to their side where they can't shoot you.
I don't remember all the cannonballs. I was trying to just use the regular cannonballs.
Since the last time you played, there's a crap ton. You didn't even know you could knock down the sails. That's how long it's been.
No, was the sails be knocked down before or no?
No, they added that later down the line. You could
they added it later.
Yeah, you could knock down the mast. They break the wheel. They break the anchor. So like if they shoot your ship, it didn't happen to us. They broke our back because they hit the captain's wheel. Like I have trouble steering. The ship becomes really hard to steer because pegs are missing. So you have to take the wood and put fake replacement wood inside there. Then when the sail falls, when the mast falls, you have to pull it back up, and then you have to hammer it
back up.
Yeah, you got to pull it back up, and then you got to hammer the wood, and you see the wood like holding it into place. Yeah. So at the end of
I didn't even know that.
At the end of the session, you see your whole ship is just like it was burnt to a crisp. It's got the wood over there. It's got the holes outside. It tells a story. It tells a story. Yeah. So my method, and I like using this against actual people and also against the NPCs, when the ship's circling you, you just raise sails, and then you just tack the wheel just slow enough so you're always turning as they're circling you. So no matter where they go, you're just like, ba-ba, ba-ba, ba-ba. You're just constantly firing at them. It's fantastic. Like the little quality of life things they've done in this game, between just picking the missions from your table, by how fast when you use the grappling hook to pull stuff in, you don't have to grab it anymore and put it on the ship. It's just boom, and it just grabs it and puts it on the ship for you. The chest that they have, I mean, this is years into making. It's been in the game for years, but you can open up the chest, put the small little things inside the chest, and close the chest and pick up the whole chest. Right? There's gold in the game that you pick up, and the ammo packs that you pick up now.
I like that box you carried around that you can just use like a little vacuum cleaner. Like you walk up to all the barrels and you just put
instead
all the
of putting 5 things on you, then running back, dropping it off.
I couldn't stand that. I couldn't stand that. That's the first thing I was doing. You're like, just use the supply box. And I'm like, what supply box? And I was like, oh, this is the way to do it.
Yeah, dude, if IGN raked it now, it'd be like, too much water. 7 out of 10, right?
Yeah, Dave's got it. Too much water.
Oh, did Dave say that? Yeah.
Right,
too much water.
When you said it,
too
much water.
That's exactly right. Yeah, too much water. 7 out of 10. Yeah, it's a good time. And then even just the cooperation and different things. You can get
You have to cooperate. You have to.
Yeah. If one person's doing their own thing, like fishing on top of the boat, and you're like, we're sinking here.
But I noticed that the jail cell is only on the biggest boat.
There is a jail cell. Yeah, no, there's a jail cell on every boat.
There's a jail cell on every boat.
Yeah, on the small sloop. It's right when you come down the stairs. It's right to your left. In the brigantine.
How do you vote? How do you vote the guy into the jail on the sloop if you have to vote majority rules? How does that work?
You really don't. It's just there for show. Yeah,
Okay.
it's just for show. And then they did some stuff since the last time I played. I've never been to the outpost that they have now, the sanctuary, where they redid the entire sanctuary, where it's like a whole city now on that island, which is really cool.
But that's something I always like in a game like that. Like, I think that you should be able to build your town.
Yeah, I've said for years, for 5 years now since it's been out. They had their anniversary this month to be the 6th year. I've always wanted Sea of Thieves to be that, not a survival game, but no, it doesn't have to be a survival game. But it would be cool if I could pick an island in my world, sort of like what Fallout 76 does, and you build your house on that island, right? You build your house on that island, and then when you get stuff in the Emporium or you do certain things, you can put your trophies. Now, I understand the ship itself is that thing, right? But when you play with friends, you're not using your ship, right? You're using whoever's ship it is. Like, if you're part of the guild, you're using my ship, or we can use your ship, and you can see the trophies and stuff on there. But I think there should be some sort of base that you're going to that you can keep adding to and to stuff. And if you happen to join the same island or a match with someone else with the same stuff on that island, it'll be like a Fallout 76 moment where you're like, well, you can't have your house in this one. Would you like to stay in this server? I think that's what it would. I think that would just give it a little even more stuff to do. Like, I love the hidden, the captains. You know, you play the song, you go down Captain Legend, you go underneath the ground. It's like where One Eye Willie's ship is. You know what I mean? Like, you go into that hidden area.
But that's what that is.
Yeah, well, it's very
straight out of the Goonies. It's straight out of the Goonies.
Heavily after Goonies. Yeah, they're big, huge Goonie fans. Mike, I forget his first name, but he's a huge Goonies fan. So I think it would be cool if they give us like our own lair or something that you could decorate and stuff in there and give more reason to do it. But they've added so much content. It's such a good game, and it's like $40 if you bought it, and if you don't buy it, you know, it's on Game Pass, and now it's coming to PlayStation, which. If PlayStation fans are out there and they're hating on it because it's a Microsoft game, you're missing out. It's going to be a fantastic game, and you should play it.
I did watch a video of like an all-out war, like all 9 ships, or how many ships on a server?
I think it's 6 ships. I think
6 or 7 ships.
Yeah, it all depends on what the size of the ships are and stuff like that.
Some I was like 15 people or so. I saw them just a giant battle. Like,
yeah, it's awesome.
Near this town, and there was like the shark was there. There was a ghost ship. They're all firing on each other. Like, a couple boats are just on fire. Like, it was just complete pandemonium. It almost looked like a Battlefield game at that point. It almost looked like a Battlefield game.
I remember when the game first came out, and there was only the big ships, right? There was only the big ships. And what we would do is you would find another crew, and you would talk to them and be like, hey, do you want to join forces? And we come on the ship. And then you would have 4 guys of your team or 3 guys of your team on top of the ship, and the other guys would be swinging, but you had to stay away from each other because you could kill each other, right? And they would be under repairing the ship, so you were unstoppable. So you just go to other people, right? Because it's just 2 teams versus all the other teams, right?
Right. You had 8 people on
right,
one
8
boat.
people on one boat. You're never sinking. You're never sinking, right?
Right.
And the coordination, it was fantastic. And then they could raid the people and kill them and stuff. But if anyone died from the other team that was on your boat, they would have to go back to their boat, and you would have to pick them up and stuff. But it was just good old fun. To me, it's exactly what a video game should be. It's fun. It's just a fun, good old time, and it's a sandbox. You can do what you want.
Whatever you want.
Yeah. So I like that. I've been playing Division 2. I've been playing Sea of Thieves a little bit. I played a little bit of Expedition, which is the new Mud Runners game. I like it. I played it for about 2.5, 3 hours on stream.
Tried to watch it, but the engine noise is horrible.
Yeah, I don't like the engine noises. I said it a little bit later in the stream.
Horrible.
The engine sounds don't sound very good. I said maybe you can upgrade it and maybe it sounds different.
It sounds like a Mitsubishi or Subaru car with an offset transmission.
Yeah, it's weird.
the whiny grind is like, what kind of car sounds like this? Especially one that has to have all-wheel drive and drive through the wilderness. Like, no.
The game
No.
itself is a lot different than SnowRunners and MudRunners, right? SnowRunners to me is still a better game as of right now. I'm not. I haven't gotten deep into this one yet, but this one has a lot of different types of things, right? You can have a drone that help you see certain things. You have the winch is a little different than the other one. You have these extra inventory slots that you can have and bring on. So like if your truck tips over, you can have this thing a jack that helps you get right up. But it's kind of weird. It doesn't just kick you up. It like makes a circle around your car if you're tipped over, and then you can like rearrange your car wherever you want to put the car, and then it just drops it and it's like up and running. There's just lots of little very RPG-esque in this game, where I don't really understand it just yet. I like that SnowRunners is logistics. It's like pick up this wood, pick up this oil, take this thing to that point, build that thing, right? This is explore. Go find the hidden plane, go find the face on the mountain, right? It's just expedition. It's just an exploration type game. Don't really feel like I almost feel like they've made it easier. I didn't really get stuck in
I would believe that.
Right? I do. I believe they made it a little bit easier. I feel like because it's kind of easy, it's kind of boring. Early on right now.
But you'll encapsulate a bigger audience because they want people like me who's raging that going 3 feet from one point to another, you're stuck in the mud.
Yeah,
for 20 minutes. That's why I can't play it. Like I can't. Like
I said, so I like playing it, but I'm gonna put more time in to see if I like it. My son's liking it. He doesn't like the big truck though. The big truck just doesn't. I don't know. It's different. SnowRunners to me is like the perfect one. MudRunners, good game. SnowRunners, much better game. Expedition, it's like this. It's like Mass Effect 1 to Mass Effect 2 to Mass Effect 3. Okay? Mass Effect 2 is the best one. SnowRunners is the Mass Effect 2 of this series. Expedition is Mass Effect 3, where it's like, what are they doing?
My patience is very limited now, and I can't play games like that that are going to escalate my anger for the entire day in the first 10 minutes.
I find it very chilling. So, some say Mass Effect 3 it's not the best. If you're going to say the best water, it's definitely not the best. Mass Effect 2 is the best in that series.
I mean, the difference for that game, though, I don't want to do a sidebar, but just real quick. Like, if you've actually played the trilogy, if you actually played it, the difference between 1 and 2 is so profound, right? The amount that was added and enhanced from number 1 to number 2. 2 to 3 was decent, but the jump between 1 and 2 is incredible, considering the progression they had for that series.
Yeah. Oh. Krebsy says, this small, but I think these type of games should let me exit the truck or vehicle. I agree, Krebsy.
Blasphemy!
I think there's a game. Here's the thing, right? American Truck Simulator is a really good simulator truck game. And then I played this other one called Alaskan Truck Simulator, where you can get out of the truck. And you know what? Doesn't feel as good. American Truck Simulator feels so good when you're driving the truck. It feels like you're driving a truck. And they don't have where you can exit the truck. Where this other game, you can exit the truck, but the truck doesn't feel as good as when you're driving American Truck Simulator. So I don't know if there's a handoff there of like they couldn't do it. But I agree 100%. I think games like this, I think it'd be cool if you could get out of your truck and engage with the environment and stuff like that. But we'll see.
Well, then, if you do that, then you're only about 3 more steps away from Far Cry.
Sure, Far Cry with American Truck Simulator. I'm okay with that.
I mean, that's what that is. I just want to get out of the truck. I just want a gun.
I'll be honest.
I just want to shoot people. I just want to run them over. Well, now you're in Far Cry.
Well, I'll be honest. I like playing Grand Theft Auto 5 online because you could be like a taxi driver, you could be a police officer, you could just do what you want and pretend, right? Which is also fun. So those are the games I'm playing, and then I played Helldivers. Helldivers, still enjoying it. Yeah, still enjoying it. Did you see that video I sent you with Stone Mountain and Slice of Pizza, where they're both yelling at each other like drill sergeants?
Yes.
Just class. The two guys that they get in the party with the randos, they're having a blast. At the end of that whole video, the guy's like, "This is the best experience I've ever had in any game ever." Right?
But that's what says to you that it's all there are different aspects of a video game that make it memorable and fun. The game itself can stand on its own and it has merit. That's one thing. If it's a multiplayer game and you can have camaraderie inside of a game and the character classes jive with each other, and then the person's personality that you're playing with in a game that has merit and is fun to play is a whole different level.
Right.
That's what made Borderlands 2 hilarious.
I want to bring this up. I was on Lono's podcast 2 weeks ago, 13 days ago. Tomorrow will be 14 days. He asked me a question. What do I think about roadmaps? And I said,
garbage.
I said, I don't think there should be a roadmap in Helldivers 2. I think they should do it where you're in the world and they make it a mission to do something. So here's this clip that I had from 2 weeks ago. Push them back. They don't do any kind of roadmap out loud. They do a roadmap by going, Diver, we got new equipment coming in. Boom. We do a mission. What about this, Lona? Right? You do a mission. That mech is not just coming into the game. You got to push and win a planet to get that mech. Okay? So the community rallies around. There's an arm depot that we have to get the mech, right? And you push and get that mech. And then the mech is available for in-game. Like, roadmap, cool. But I think that they have it's a very, very niche game where they can do it, where other companies couldn't do it with other games, right? Like, it doesn't work for like a Suicide Squad. It doesn't work like that for any other game. What they're doing in this game, they can literally drop roadmaps and weapon stuff. You got to go to a weapon depot, and all of a sudden you find a new weapon, right? Like, they can do it in the game without ever saying like, well, in 3 months we're getting this new weapon. Right. So I'll stop it there. Okay. Now, real quick, let me pull up the tweets. Right now, that was 13 days ago. Okay. Now, the tweet from March 5th. Now, we knew mechs were coming in the game. This wasn't hidden. They told us mechs were coming into the game. But they come in with a tweet, and it says, Helldivers, the EXO-45 Patriot Exo suits are in full production in the factories, okay, and ready for deployment on the battlefield soon, okay? And this was on March 5th, okay? And then, just a couple days later, the new major event happens, and all of a sudden it says, this is not a drill. Our factories are under attack, halting all output. Helldivers have been deployed to liberate this planet, right, where the factory is. This is production halt. So the only way we get these mechs is by liberating this planet, right? Man, let me tell you, I call shit a lot, but this is the fastest it's ever manifested itself, right? And obviously, people look at this and can say, "Oh, of course, that's what they were gonna do, 30, right?" But the difference between that is that I have receipts. I have proof that I said it because I'm a crazy son of a bitch. Okay, so it made sense to me that this game would do exactly that because that's what makes sense for this game. And again, like I said on the podcast, not every game can do this, right? Not every game can all of a sudden just sneak something in. They have to tell you, hey, come back and play our game. We're bringing this in 3 months. Get ready, right? This one's like Tuesday evening. They're like, if you want to play, new weapon coming in. It's an arc gun. Factory's under attack. You need to get the thing. And you're like, I'm there, bro. I'm coming in.
But how does the because I'm not familiar with all the details that you guys have played. So how does the taking over of a planet work? Like, every mission that you do counts as a success or failure?
Yeah, so if you fail,
there's too many failures for the day that you don't get the planet?
Yeah, so there's a chart. There's a graph, a bar graph, right? Okay. So on certain planets, there's a top bar and a bottom bar, and whoever hits the top first, like the bad guys or the good guys, that's what it is. Or there's a swing. So every failed mission, failed mission, it moves. It's like tug of war, right? It moves back towards the left or up towards the right. Okay. So so many people are going into this. We're going to liberate the planet because we want the fucking mechs, right? So
but that's incentive,
right?
That's a good thing.
Hold on a second. I've done my part. Okay, I played like 5-6 missions earlier today. Okay, going in, doing the missions, and based on the level that you do it, it does more towards that. So if you're super traversal or easy, you're getting minuscule fractions of a point in the pie chart. Okay, but if you're on 7, 8, and 9, okay, they're getting bigger parts of the bar filled faster, right? So that's what's happening. But at the same time, those people that fail those missions gives a bigger chunk of the pie to the bad guys. So you got to make sure you win, because if you don't win, then you lose, and if you lose, you're giving them the win, right? So you're giving them a bigger chunk.
Okay.
So you don't want everyone doing easy mode because it would take too long to liberate the planet, right? So you need people that are at higher difficulties getting bigger chunks.
Okay. So then my next question is going to be that if it actually is doing the tug of war thing and you actually have to play it, then my next thing is, does the level matter? Like, if you, so let's say this week goes by, but everyone lost, so you don't get the mechs for like another week, like that kind of thing. Like, will that actually happen?
Well, basically, this is what I think would happen if we happen to lose this planet. Okay. Now, again, I don't know if this is happening. This is what I think would happen. If we lose this factory where the mechs are, it would be badass if the bad guys get those mechs. Do you know what I mean? Like, the mechs are ours, but if we lose it, all of a sudden now you're fighting against... We're already fighting against mechs from the automatons, okay? But now you would be fighting them with this particular mech, and that would be cool.
I gotta say, though...
I kind of want to fail just to see if it happens.
Yeah, but if you all have mechs, though, if there's 4 people in the game and everybody's got a mech, I gotta say that your firepower is probably going to be ridiculous, right?
Well, yeah.
Like,
well,
your friend Joel is going to have to come down from the heavens and escalate the game because
this is
four guys in a mech is going to start stomping across the planet. I'm assuming, right?
Well, this is what I think will happen if we did lose this. If they don't get the mechs themselves, like the bad guys, this factory would be closed down and blown up. Let's say in the story. Type of stuff, and then they'll be like, we have another factory in process on another planet, and you have to liberate that planet or something.
Or you can only get, or maybe you can only get if there's not enough factories, you only get 1 mech per mission. Whereas
something, I think it's a
unlimited mechs per mission.
No, I think it's a one and done. I think it's a one and done. Once you're out of ammo, you'll probably lose the mech. Also, they're bringing vehicles in. They said, and once you're done or it blows up, it's it. You can't call another one in. It's like one. If it runs out of gas, it's it. It's out of gas. Right,
you keep escalating like that. You're basically doing a Battlefield game with everyone versus AI. That's basically what it is.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, that's basically what it is. If you start allowing vehicles to happen and you want to build a base or a fire base or something, that's basically Battlefield humans versus AI. That's basically what that is.
Yeah. See, a part of me really wants to know if we lose the mechs, do we just lose the mechs and it's delayed for a week? Until the next planet has to get liberated, and then we finally get it there? Or do we lose the mechs, and then the mechs become theirs, and then they're using those mechs against us? And then we have to get other mechs to bring in against them?
I mean, if you were really telling a story to make it... In order to make the game more, I guess, realistic, even though it's a fun game...
They would get the mechs.
Like if you lost the planet, you lose the mechs. And then they would be using the mechs against you. And then, like, for maybe the next week, you'd have to come up with a better weapon to help kill the mechs. So then you could take over the planet with the mechs. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you would have to research a better weapon, like a better rocket launcher or a rail gun, a better rail gun in order to kill the mechs. I mean, that's the way you would do it, right? The new things in the game would have to transpire because of things that happened with the game. So, like, if you won the mech, then you wouldn't have to research the new railgun, right? That wouldn't come about,
right?
And you'd have the mech, and then later on, maybe like all of a sudden the automatons get like a bigger, badder vehicle, and so now you have 2 choices: do you want better railguns, or do you want to go for the advanced mech? Like, and you have choices, and then people would battle on those planets to see which one they would want.
I think the way they go though is just a simple route. We lose the mechs, we don't get them, our factory's lost. And now we're building another factory on another planet. So leading up to that, it would be like, we need these supplies from this planet to liberate this planet to get the supplies to make the factory. Like they could make it that way. And I think that's what they'll do.
There's a lot of options.
Yeah, no, it's really cool the way they're doing it. And then next week on March 14th, next Thursday, they are bringing the next season in, the next War Bond. I guess you say Battle Pass, whatever it is. So there is no FOMO. So this battle pass, the War Bond pass, stays in the game. Okay, so you have the free track and the paid track if you want to do the paid track. Then they're bringing another War Bond. So they showed 3 different suits that are coming in the paid. Excuse me, in the game, the paid section. And then there's going to be other War Bonds. So now, if you're playing next week, you could use your War Bonds from free over here, paid over there, right? So there's going to be more options for you to decide what you want. They're bringing more weapons in, different grenades, different weapons, arc weapon, scattered weapon, a sickle, I think one of them is called. And it looks pretty cool. Now, what I like about this, people are bitching right now because they nerfed the railgun. They nerfed the bubble, the shield generator, the personal shield generator. And people are like, oh, you ruined the game and blah, blah, blah. And I actually like the way they explained it, right? Because I've said this in other games. I said, I hate that there's a meta where it's this gun and this gun only, right? We were just talking about Division, right? Everything's usable. Everything is viable in Division 2, okay? In this game, for instance, the railgun that was happening, there was a safe mode and an unsafe mode. No one was using the unsafe mode because it was too unsafe. You would hold the trigger too long, it would blow up and kill you, okay? But now what they did was they took the railgun and made the safe mode where it doesn't do enough damage to the chargers or the harder enemies with armor on them, right? Medium armor, light armor, and stuff like that. So now, if you want to kill that charger like you were before, you got to put it on unsafe mode. And if you have to do it on unsafe mode, then you have to start learning the weapon to don't hold the trigger too long, because if you hold the trigger too long, it'll blow up in your hand instead of doing the power towards the actual charger, right? So there's like a give and take, right? So everyone all of a sudden was bitching about, well, now they got rid of the meta, and they said, well, we already found one. There's a laser rifle that the people are using and a flamethrower. Well, the flamethrower is good. It's been good this entire time, but people were using the railgun. They weren't using the flamethrower. Well, the flamethrower is really good, but the problem with the flamethrower is you could literally light yourself on fire and everybody else around you on fire, and that's the downside of the flamethrower, right? You point it towards the right person, it's gonna get killed real fast. But then they start attacking you, and you start doing this, and you got people on the sides of you. Well, now they're on fire, the ground's on fire, and then you're on fire, right? So there's a give and take for every weapon.
But that sounds like a regular military training manual, is what it sounds like.
It fits
perfect. That's how they teach you to use a flamethrower, like in the military.
It fits perfect.
This is the side that the flame comes out. So now you're going to target these areas and try not to jerk back and forth with your flamethrower because you'll set fire to your friends.
But that's just it. Like, for instance, when me and Paul were playing, right, I had the grenade in my hand, and I thought a grenade in your hand, you pull it, but it wouldn't blow up until you chuck it. Well, I had one that has a fuse on it, and I was like holding it, and I was about to throw it, but he killed the guy, so I wasn't going to throw the grenade, but I already started it, so I blew up because it was in my hand, and I didn't let it go, and it blew up. Where other grenades are in your hand, they don't blow up until they make contact with something, right? So everything, it's hilarious because you can kill somebody by doing that. Call airstrike, it kills them. Your flamethrower kills people. Your robot on the head, right? Laser shoots people and kills them. It kills yourself.
I like the fact that you can call down something to kill the actual enemies. I think that's a really good mechanic.
Well, the enemies can kill enemies, right? You can kill yourselves, right? Everything can kill anything, right? You can call a stratagem and kill and come down and destroy people. You can burn them on fire. It's such a really good, fun game. I'm really excited to see what they can do with this and bring it in. And I'm okay with them nerfing stuff because I want everything viable. And if it's not viable, right? But one of the things they said, which was really funny, they're like, we want you to use stratagems more. And you're like, well, wait a minute, the railgun is a stratagem, right? So they like want you to use stratagems, but the railgun is a stratagem, right? You're calling it from the air and it comes down to the ground as a stratagem, and you pick it up and then you're using it, right? And they're like, well, we want you to use stratagem. I am using a stratagem, but now you nerfed it, right? You nerfed this stratagem, so why? So it's just funny to me. So people are bitching. I find it funny. Like, just use what you want and get proficient with that weapon, right? Because every weapon is viable, but you're not gonna get a pistol and try to shoot a heavy and with the heavy armor. You're gonna get the gun that does it.
Yeah, but pistol's always been last ditch effort thing. Is there a shoulder mounted chain gun?
Not yet. Not yet.
Shoulder mounted chain
that would
guns
be pretty cool though.
There's so many options you can have with that kind of game, but that just Battlefield proper, please.
So,
please bring a Battlefield proper.
Those are the games that we've been playing. Let's get to the top stories. All right, Sarge. First up is.
I don't have enough whiskey for this episode.
Well, we're not starting there. We're starting with Lego Fortnite here. Lego Fortnite I said this from the start. I said, I don't know why Lego hasn't decided to do this. And then Fortnite came in and put Legos in Fortnite. But I said, how is Lego not making a Minecraft where they're selling sets inside the virtual world, right? They had Lego Universe, which bombed, and Lego World or whatever, and it didn't do very good. So now in Lego Fortnite, they're bringing in Beachside Boulevard Bundle. Okay, Beachside Boulevard Bundle is what cozier than sun, sea, and sand. The Beachside Boulevard Bundle costs 1,900 V-Bucks and includes Lego kit with 7 builds and Lego kit with 44 decorated items, right? So now they're just selling you the Lego sets in the virtual world, okay, which can't hate them for it, right? You're literally building Legos now in your Lego world, okay? So now you can have a whole set. Now just picture this, Sarge. Now I'm not saying they're doing this, but I'm going to put it out there, and they are going to do this because that's what happens, okay? A new set comes out in the store, okay? That's like $200. Make the problem, sell the solution, okay? And they take that same set that, you know, you're not going to buy a $200 set for your kid, but you'll spend $25 for that same set inside the game so your kid can pay that money inside of Fortnite. You know it's going to happen, Sarge, okay? Then they have Burger Bundle, okay? Order up Burger Bundle, say that 10 times fast, costs 2,000 V-Bucks and includes Lego kit with 3 builds and Lego kit with 41 decorated items, okay? And then there's the Lion Knights Castle Bundle, okay? The Castle Bundle, make your village as grand as Legendary's Lego Castle. The Lion Castle Bundle comes to a shop on March 16th at 8 p.m. Eastern and can be purchased for 2,500 V-Bucks and includes Lego kit with 10 builds, Lego kit with 64 decorated items, and build parts. Decorated items are available in Lego Fortnite build menu after purchase and require resources to build the survival worlds, and the content can be placed in your worlds and up to 8 of your friends' worlds per week. Okay? So, yes, you can also use your stuff in Lego Kit in both the worlds and friends' worlds. So share your fun content in Lego Kits and does not grant gameplay advantages. Also, alongside Lego Kits, we'll also continue to add free builds, build parts, decorations, and items for Lego Fortnite over time. So not only, Sarge, do you have to pay $25, $20, and $19, but you can't build them until you get the resources. So you have to in your world. I mean, there is a creative mode, so you can just build if you want. But I have to say, as a father of a kid, and I love Legos myself. I mean, you guys can't see them, but I have a bunch of Lego old buildings, like a bakery, a restaurant, and stuff like that I really like the detail on them, right? My son loves Legos. If they sell the same set that comes in like the Target stores or Walmart stores, but they sell them in his, there's no space taken up here. There's no Legos in the middle of the night, me stepping on and stabbing my foot and screaming like a little girl, or going, you know what I mean? Like everything is just right in the game. So what do you think of this? Do you think this is, obviously it's microtransactions and whatnot, but what do you think? Good, bad, indifferent?
I don't know if I'm qualified to answer this question. I have to be honest with you. My brain does not allow me to purchase digital Legos in order to construct them in a game, as opposed to buying Lego and having a product. But the fact that people are continuously surprising me by the fact that you want digital products that you can't touch and pay the same money for them is incredible.
Yeah, well,
it's absolutely incredible.
Here's what I think they should do. Lego would make a fortune this way. Hear me out. You want to make physical, because Dupless is asking, what about if your kid wants to play with actual Legos? Well, then you would have to get actual money to get actual physical products in the store. Here's my counter to all of this. If I buy this in real life, there should be a code or a barcode that I scan that also goes in the game as well.
Nope.
Just like Disney Infinity.
Nope. Sorry.
No, I'm telling you.
On the table. Money on the table. Sorry.
Just like Disney Infinity.
They went bankrupt. That's why.
No, but well, listen to this. Disney Infinity, there's been rumors that it's coming back. Okay. They're coming back. An artist released some digital renders of new stuff that's coming out.
Sorry, 30. We can't give you the Lego thing inside the game because you bought it in real life. You have to buy it in the game as well.
Well, I'm telling you, I think there will be something down the line that in stores, Fortnite will, because Fortnite already has figurines in the toy stores. They already have figurines in the toy stores, right? They already have a toy line.
I mean, what's the difference between a Lego and a Lego Fortnite in a store? It's Lego. Just because it's got a Fortnite like thing on the box, is that the only difference? Well, it's a Lego guy.
No, but think about this. If you see that on the shelf and it says compatible with Lego Fortnite, I'm telling you.
I'm sorry. Am I being fed spoons full of stupidity? Like, what do you want me to agree with right now? You're telling me that there's Lego being sold in the store. That makes sense. There's Lego in the store. But because it's got the Fortnite logo on it, it's a completely different thing now?
No, it's not a completely different thing. It would just be that build that you buy physically. Also, you can use inside this game. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
What do you? They're not charging more money for it. It's a $200 Ghostbuster firehouse that you're buying in real life, but now you can bring that into the actual game, just like there are other Lego games that they've done in the past. They did Lego Universe, okay, or Multiverse, whatever the fuck it was called. Okay, you would buy the thing and it would be inside your game. It was exactly the same thing as Skylanders. It was the same thing as Disney Infinity. Exact same thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Lego still wants to sell their little plastic blocks. I'm pretty sure
they are.
They're making a killing on that. I'm not sure if we're going full digital just yet, but it's still hilarious.
I'm not saying. I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying. You're buying the physical guild still. And it comes with the digital good to put in the game that you're playing.
And I'm telling you, they do not want that to happen. They want you to buy it again.
But they would sell more physical goods.
That's what you think. But that's what you think. But that's money on the table. That's money on the table. They don't like you having money on the table. They don't like it. They would rather sell it again.
No, the reason Skylanders and Disney Infinity went bankrupt is because those companies had to physically make those products and they couldn't sell them because it cost too much to make that. Lego is already making these things. That is their business model. Lego is selling physical blocks to sell you stuff. Okay? All they have to do is put a code on the box and then go, not only do you get it for $200 for this or $100 or $30, but this particular set is compatible with Lego Fortnite, and you can play with this inside that game as well. That would 100% sell more physical products. 100%. And they wouldn't go bankrupt because Lego is already making those sets regardless. Where Disney Infinity and Skylanders had to buy and make those molds. Molds are very expensive, okay? Well, Lego makes the molds. Lego is the mold. They make the products regardless. I never said they're going all digital. All I'm saying is if they want to make more sales for this game and get people to interact with it, they would sell physical goods with a code on it that would also get it into the actual game.
Maybe.
Dude says, I take it back. This is a cool idea for the children. I think the games where kids' imaginations are stimulated is a good thing. Sure. No, I think buying this for $25 is insane. I do. Okay? I think that's insane. For the people that want physical goods still, and they also get that same thing inside the actual game, that's a win-win. Okay, sure, if you just want to buy the digital good, buy the digital good. But if you're also paying a lot more money, right, because you're paying $40, $50, $60, $80, $100, $200, $300, $800 for that set, they can throw in a fucking digital code to put it inside the game.
Lego's completely out of control at this point. Like beforehand, a basic set was like $50, like $40. Now, like a basic set's like $150.
I'll be interested to see what Disney does with their $1.5 billion when they team up with Fortnite, because Fortnite you can buy the figurines right now. When Disney comes out with their stuff, I think they're going to have a Disney Infinity type of thing.
Well, if somebody in the toy world would just actually make a good toy, they could probably make a boatload of money, because apparently by today's standards, nobody's making toys.
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday when we were playing Division 2. Like, Hasbro is sitting on a gold mine of products, and they don't know what they're like. I don't know what to do with this Transformers and G.I. Joes. Like, no boy wants to play with these things.
Because no one likes the military.
No boy likes a robot dinosaur bug that turns into a construction vehicle that flies a plane with laser guns shooting out of it. Like, nobody likes that. Like, what are we talking about?
It's I just look at it as a series of events leading to a very bad outcome. There are no toy stores. There are toys inside retail stores, yes, but there are no toy stores.
No.
Right? The toys that they sell to children, besides some of the digital ones, like the electronic stuff, which is pretty cool, is garbage. Right? It just seems strange to me how you can have an entire industry that they don't know what to make. Like you don't like I said it last night. When I think about the toy thing that's going on right now, all I keep thinking of is the movie Big with Tom Hanks, and he's sitting in the room playing with a toy, and he's like, it's a robot that turns into a building, and he goes, "Well, what's fun about a building?" Like exactly, like, and that's how like the entire industry is thinking right now. Like we have this awesome thing, it's a building that turns into a robot. And it's like, well, who cares about a building? Like,
right.
Who cares?
How do you play it?
Like that's where
it's
we are
a
right
rock.
now.
Oh yay! It's a rock. It transforms into a robot. It's a rock.
I mean, but we lived through all the excuse the term, double pun, the transformations of the types of transformers. Because first there was vehicles into robots, right? Then it was bugs into robots. Then it was dinosaurs into robots.
Construction, yeah.
Right? The whole line. But like, you can't tell me that you guys are being paid, your suits, millions of dollars a year, you're being paid to sit in a room and think up some toy ideas, and you guys got bupkis. Bupkis. You got nothing. Nothing. I the other day, I was just typing in new toys. Like the best stuff they got is like the RC stuff.
And nothing came out.
Yeah, nothing. Nothing comes up.
The real quick, Siege Master, don't feel bad. It's only been gone since 2017. Toys R Us closed in 2017 is when they closed down in the United States. They've been gone for that long, right? They've literally had pop-up shops that show up in like Kohl's and
Halloween store pops up, a Toys R Us pops up like a Halloween store. Like, what are we talking about? So what you're saying to me is it's temporary toy season. Like, there are children still walking the earth, right? Like kids.
Oh
like
my
toys,
God!
Right?
It's Halloween. It's Easter, and it's toy season. Yay! Let's see if the toy's ripe.
What the hell is toy season?
Do you guys know if it's G.I. Joe season? Oh no, that only happens between May and June this year. It's like, what?
Like kids are running around going, I want to get a new instant messenger and a new iPhone. Like, that's my toy. I don't want any figurines or vehicles or robots or nothing.
I always get a kick out of this. My son always wants to go to Target, and he wants to go to the toy section, right? Every kid does. He walks on the toy section, and he just looks around, and you got to pick, you know, he's your nephew, you know, how tall he is, whatever. And he walks down the aisle, and he just does this. He goes, he puts his hands up in the air. Right, and I'm just sitting there, you know.
He puts his hands in the air. What does that mean?
He does this, like he looks down the aisle and goes, "There's nothing here." Like he walks around, he picks up a toy and like looks at it and is like, and he comes back over to the cart and he's like, there's no good toys here.
Okay, so what you need to do is film that and send it to Hasbro.
But it'll look like a stage. It'll look staged,
No,
but it's not. But it's not staged.
No, it won't.
Yeah. Like it's so funny to watch him walk up and down the aisle and just be like, "This is boring. There's nothing there."
Seriously.
And he'll look at a toy for a bit and he'll like play with it. Because I taught him when he was younger. I was like, move the head, see the joints, see what they are, and he'll like play with it and go, and he puts it back down. And then he kind of like thinks about it and he picks it up. He's like, I really want this one. He's like, but I don't know. I'm like, that's your choice. So it's like, if you want it. But then when he comes and visits you, and he pulls the Masks toys out and the Transformer toys out and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toys out. And he's like, these are really cool. I'm like, I know. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, because we have people that knew how to make fucking toys. Like, there's an entire industry. There's nobody making toys.
I gave him a Transformer, a new Transformer. It was Cliff Jumper.
Doesn't make sense.
Cliff Jumper.
Doesn't make sense.
It was a Transformer Cliff Jumper. It looked great in the box. Then you open up the box, you cut him out, and all he does is this, and then he goes to this. Right? It's like a 3-step process to transform him.
That sounds amazing,
right? And I was like, and it says it's for 8-year-olds and up. It's not like one of those like preschool ones.
8-year-olds,
yeah, 8-year-olds and up, right? And
the
it was like
Transformers came out when we were 8.
Yeah, yep. Remember trying to transform Megatron, like a 32-step process, and trying to tuck his legs inside the handle, and
you had to figure it out. You had to figure out
sitting
how
there,
to
you're
change
like, it was like solving a Rubik's cube, like the very first time you were transforming them. Yeah.
Well, that's why they started out as the car first, or whatever vehicle first, because it looks cool. The robot not always looked good.
Yeah.
So you turned it into a robot, and then you had to figure out how to put it back into a vehicle.
Then they made the mini ones that just transform. You slide the feet out and step them up, and put the arms out, and then it was done.
It looked okay to me.
Yep.
At least it was a toy.
It was a toy. Yeah. So that's Lego Fortnite. That's what they're doing, right?
Lego Fortnite.
I'll say it is a fun game. It's a fun game, but there's a lot of problems. It's like early access basically for a survival game. But I think it'll come a long way as long as they, it took Lego this long. Minecraft's only been out for 13 years. It took Lego this long to figure out how to make a game, and they couldn't make a game. They had to go to Fortnite, and Fortnite made the game for them for $2 billion.
We've been making Legos for too long. Can you guys make Legos inside a game for us? Because we don't know how to make Legos.
We don't know how to make Legos. We're the only people that left to make toys, by the way. That's the only people left on the planet that knows how to make a toy. Right. So next story I want to talk about is EA. Okay, EA. Lets the nostalgic begin. 9 classic EA games are available to play on Steam starting today. Now, this is not EA's first time putting games on Steam, but this is they're taking old classic games: Command & Conquer: The Ultimate Collection, SimCity 3000 Unlimited, Populous 2, Populous: The Beginning, Dungeon Keeper Gold, Dungeon Keeper 2, Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri, and The Saboteur. Saboteurs were actually a pretty good game back in the day. So you got all these games coming over to Steam. So if you have that nostalgia feel for you, you can go to Steam and pick up these games. Man, I used to love SimCity. SimCity was the best until EA bought them and drove it into the ground, and I never touched it again. Any of these games seem like, obviously, I know you're not going to buy any of them. Any of these seem where you'd be like, you know what, I might. Command & Conquer. That's the only one I can see.
Nope, you're out.
Nope. Not even Command & Conquer.
It's too much time, bro. It's those games they're too far gone, man. Right? Play Dawn of War 2. Play Total War Warhammer 3 or Total War Rome. Like those are RTS games. Like those are games now. Like Command & Conquer's nothing. Command & Conquer was like a bad, the best version of paper, rock, scissors.
One of the first games that got real actors to come in on the screen when they were contacting you, they would be up in the upper corner. And then the cutscenes, that was like live action. Amazing back then.
I mean, video games in that genre have come a long way, but like they're grasping, bro. They are hunting so badly for people to buy the nostalgia games, but it's just like any other thing you buy. When it's nostalgia, you're buying the piece of the happiness that you thought you had, but once you have it in your hands and you actually play it for more than 2 minutes, you're like, what am I doing with this?
Right.
Why did I just give you money for something that made me happy 35 years ago when I could just think about the item I did 35 years ago and get happy about it?
Right.
Like, what am I trying to? I know I can't play the game. The game is 35 years old. Like, my brain can't even handle looking at it. Right? We tried it. We have retro game day once a year all the time. We put in every game we thought we loved. We put it in. We try playing it, and we'll play it for max
30 minutes.
Max, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops. You're like, nope, done.
It's good memory going down memory. Yeah. Going down memory lane was good.
Next.
Krebsy says SimCity 2014 maps too small. City Skylines came in and said, hold my beer. Then the Skylines 2 releases in SimCity 2025 would release and say, hold my beer to it.
Yeah. Oh, Krebsy, that is a perfect analogy. SimCity basically had the city simulator on lockdown because nobody wanted to make a city game because they didn't want to compete against SimCity. So what happens? SimCity keeps getting lazy. They keep releasing a bunch of garbage. They had to be online only. And then some company just said, hey, you know what? The SimCity game sucks. We should come out with our own simulator game, right?
We should make it.
And when they did, they attached the C4 to SimCity and blew it the fuck up. Nobody cares about SimCity anymore.
City Skylines is amazing.
Because City Skylines is like the best city simulator there has ever been. And it's moddable. People are modding it up their the wazoo. They're modding it.
Yeah. City Skyline 2 came out last year. It fluttered a little bit because they rushed out the door and it's not out for console yet, but it's a fantastic City Skyline 1 with all the expansions they have. Holy Christ, right? Well, speaking of remasters, this is a rumor, but you know, EA is releasing these games on Steam, okay? And then we have this news, rumor. Again, I'm saying rumor, okay? Rumor coming from some random person on Twitter, but I can see this happening. Right? It says, in 2025, Sony is working on heavily loaded remasters and remakes for 2024 and 2025. Some games that are rumored. Until Dawn remake confirmed. Uncharted 1 remake. Gravity Rush 2 remastered. God of War trilogy. Horizon Zero Dawn PlayStation 5 version. Plus more, right? Nothing on Bloodborne. So, obviously, we know why they're doing... If and when they do this, we know why they're doing it. Because... fucking video games are expensive to make, and they have to figure out other ways to make money. Well, they already have these games done, so making a remaster is really cheap, and they can get the money back out for that nostalgia feel of people that have never played it before or try it again, you know, for the first time. For the people that are like, well, I can't play that old system anymore because I don't have that system, and that's not backwards compatible because it's from PlayStation 3 or whatever. So they're like, oh, I'll just buy the whole trilogy again on the thing. I mean, Microsoft did that with Mass Effect series and putting it on Game Pass and whatnot. Like, they want that nostalgia feel. So, do you think this rumor, I mean, obviously the Until Dawn remake is confirmed, but everything else besides that, the Uncharted series, Gravity Rush 2, God of War trilogy, do you think this is plausible?
I mean, I'm ahead of the curve when it comes to picking this stuff out, but I said the next couple years, a couple years ago, was going to be all remake stuff.
Yeah.
Because they got nothing. I mean, look, a certain amount of people always buy the remasters or the remakes because either they played it and they got rid of it, or they sold it, and they might be like in a game drought for them personally. Not to say there's not games out to play, but not everybody plays all these games. So there might be a game drought for some people, and so like that might like fill the void for you for a couple weeks, because you have to the main thing to remember about video games is it's not like buying an album or buying like a personal product or something that you use, like a iPod or a phone or something like that. It's like a video game to most people is a disposable income item,
right?
That you're buying to keep yourself busy, like something that just makes you happy and keep you busy for a little while because you enjoy it, right? Like I've always been a hobbyist. I've always been a gamer, right? So I get it. I've purchased many of these over the years, but at the same time, you don't know then that what you know now, as opposed to for what video games actually are. You're trying to buy a piece of the happiness. It's not going to be the same, right?
No, you can't recapture it.
If the game was made really well, and they come out with a remaster of it, and you don't have a copy of it, like that's the one you would probably buy again, right? Like if something happened to my Skyrim, and I had to buy Skyrim again, I would have no issues buying Skyrim again.
Right.
Right. And if they came, now they already had a special edition, Mike. They already had a special edition. But if some maniac came out with
special edition
with Skyrim remade in Unreal Engine 5, I'd be like, "Yep, I'm gonna get Skyrim again.
Yeah.
For the fourth time, I'm gonna get it. Yes." So like in that aspect, yes. But like for all these games, you keep throwing, you just throwing shit against the wall to see what sticks. Is like, there's so many games, bro. So many games, and they're just, well, instead of a 150-person team, we're gonna take a 15-person team, and you guys are gonna do the remakes for the next 18 months. These 17 games you're gonna do the remakes for, and we're gonna bundle them and we're gonna sell them.
Right.
Right? What do you think the labor is on something like that? Like
a fraction of a cost.
It doesn't matter. So like if they release it's always an uptick for them if they release a bunch of remakes that are really good, if they're really good games, so they release them, that they make money because this is very little cost in remaking game you already have all this stuff for.
One, they already made all their money off of that franchise, and now they're redoing it for a fraction of the price. They sell like 100,000 copies. They've made their money back off of these games, right?
And let's not forget, if they get to the point where the AI can code for them. So what's a remake? The AI just recoding with different, and they just, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you can have basically AI recoding your old games. You can just sell that. Like,
well, that's what's happening with the collector's edition, right? The Star Wars Battlefront collectors, right? That they're taking a game, and I think there's twofold for this. One, it's cheap, okay, and you got to remember it's not EA. EA doesn't own the rights to Battlefront, right? They had the contract and they redid Battlefront because Disney let them. Right, Lucas let them do Battlefront. So there's the new Battlefronts and there's old Battlefronts, and Aspire is doing the remake or the upscale version of the older ones. I think they want to see how well this sells, and if this sells well, we're definitely getting a Battlefront 3. I think Battlefront 3 is already being made. Yeah, I think it's a thing, and I think they're just doing this real fast to see what kind of interest there is before they release that.
They just need to put back the fun factors of those games again. Like, you would need to remake the first Battlefront with present day graphics.
Well, that's not happening.
Let us, well, that's what I'm saying. And let us do the 2-player snowspeeder. Let us do the things that we saw when we were younger. Like, it's not just I'm in the snowspeeder. It's like you're the gunner.
Well, it is. That's what you're playing. You're playing the original games. The Conquest is down there and stuff.
No, I know that, but I'm hoping redone graphically. Like, please.
Well, you got to remember, remember, Salty, the Mando game was a single-player game, and EA doesn't like single-player games. So, like where Battlefront is a multiplayer game that could sell better for them. All the shit that Battlefront 2 gets, it sold over 12 million copies. People don't realize that. They're like, "Oh, game was garbage. No one bought it." No, it sold 12 million copies. It did well. All right, so let me go to the next story here, Sarge. So Xbox and PC have arrived on Boosteroid. Now, Boosteroid is this company that does the cloud gaming. Okay, it says the first batch of Xbox PC games are arriving on Boosteroid today, a cloud gaming service. Microsoft signed a deal with Boosteroid as part of its efforts to appease the regulators for the Activision Blizzard acquisitions. You'll be able to play the titles like Deathloop, Dishonored, Dishonored 2, Dishonored Death of Outsider, Gears 5, Gears Tactics, Ghostwire Tokyo, and Pentiment. Okay, you can either purchase it from Microsoft Store or use your PC Game Pass subscription to stream these games through Boosteroid. So here it is, Sarge. People are already playing cloud gaming, right? Through Xbox itself.
More and more every day.
Here's the next thing, or the next step of cloud gaming, where people are playing on Boosteroid. Nvidia has the cloud gaming. More and more cloud gaming is coming through, and this is where the people are saying, "Well, the cloud gaming is good 10, 15 years away." Keep telling yourselves that.
No, it's not.
I was literally having a conversation the other day in chat about PlayStation having AR glasses, right? And I said in my thing, I said AR glasses are going to be a thing 10 to 15 years down the line where just people are just wearing glasses on their face, and like not Google Glass, but like actual virtual reality or augmented reality. And then Water Bear puts a tweet or puts a message in my Discord. So I said, yeah, it'll be out in like 7 to 10 years. 15 seconds. I go, man, that 10 years went by real fast because there's glasses coming out in April.
The ones that look like Harry Potter glasses.
Yes, the AR glasses. And I was like, man, that 10 years went by real fast. Okay. Cloud gaming is going to come faster than everyone thinks, right? Everyone's like, well, the infrastructure. Let me tell you, the infrastructures might be bad now, but Sony and Nintendo and Microsoft and Amazon and Google, if they want the car to move, they'll give it gas. And they're giving gas right now to make the infrastructure better for a lot of these things. There's contracts going through for the bandwidth, for the infrastructure for cloud gaming.
Yeah, but you have to remember how this works. The infrastructure that you guys are talking about will first be implemented in major metropolitan areas.
Major metropolitan cities.
That's how it works first, right? So where are the most numerous people living? They're in the cities. So if I was going
And
to
what do they have,
gaming,
Sarge? They have cell phones.
right? And if I was going to do cloud gaming, then I would want to start in the cities because that's where most of the people live. And then it branches out over time. So people that are in Hoboken or Utah eventually will do cloud gaming, but they won't be doing cloud gaming right away. But it won't matter because you're still attached to the wall,
Right.
and they can do cloud gaming and still play with you. They just don't have to worry about the wires. It's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
See, everyone thinks that, like, when you say cloud gaming, you're just talking about like one side or the other. No, all of them.
No.
All of them are in bed together, and all of them are going to be like, all right, is it time to go? Yeah, it's almost time. We're looking at our watch. 2025 is coming up.
Yeah.
Let's get that cloud gaming out there.
We need to sell new TVs. It's been too long. We're not moving TVs. So now we have to make up some lingo, make up some new words, try to make our pictures look 20 times better by showing it on another screen. I don't know how that works, but that's what that's what they show you. Yeah. They show you the really cool picture on a screen that's an old TV, and I'm like, how does that work actually? Like if you can show me how good it looks, that TV through my screen, which is apparently, according to you, a shittier version of what you're trying to sell me, but it looks amazing, then why can't I just look at it amazing through mine? Oh, no, that doesn't work that way. Your TV's a piece of shit, and this one's the best of all time. You need to get this one. And that's coming. It's coming because they want everything together, right? They released the new games, they released the new TVs, they released the new video cards. Like everything comes out in a series all together because that's how it works. They're all together. That they want to push markets. That's how it's supposed to be, right? When there's a lull, they're working on stuff, and then all of a sudden there'll be a series of advertisements for like all these things all at once. So, the glasses and the cloud and the this and the that. Oh, that's amazing. Look what I'm going to get. It's awesome.
All right. Speaking of awesome, right? Warner Brothers, right? They had a small little game last year called Hogwarts Legacy that came out. Sold a few copies,
That's 22 million.
23 million copies. And then, then they had, this year they had Suicide Squads, and Suicide Squads didn't sell as well fiscally as last year's comparison, 23 million to maybe 2.5 to 3 million. So it sold under. We don't know the sales numbers, but after the debacle of Suicide Squad that didn't sell very well, Warner Brothers discuss the volatile AAA console games and will lean into free-to-play and mobile and live service games moving forward. Okay. So during a Morgan Stanley speaking event, Warner Bros. Discovery Gaming boss came out and discussed some of the company's strategies for gaming going forward, and it includes more live service, mobile, and free-to-play games. So now, Sarge, the internet's going crazy because they think they're going to take Hogwarts Legacy and they're going to destroy it because they're going to make the next Hogwarts Legacy filled with microtransactions, and it's going to be a live service game and whatnot. And I think that's going a little too far, personally. I think what they said, and let me quote you what they said, okay? They go on and say that we're doubling down on games that has the area where we think there's a lot more growth opportunity that we can tap into with the IP that we have and some of the capabilities that we have on those studios, where we are uniquely positioned on both publisher and developer of games. Now, a lot of people don't realize this, right? They are the publisher and developer of Suicide Squad. They didn't have to pay a licensing fee to get the DC characters or anything like that. They literally own the characters. And they own the studio. So they're just making the stuff. They don't have to pay an extra 30% or anything to get the licensing or anything. So when people think that the game didn't make money, it made money. It just didn't make all the money, right?
All the money.
But when they talk about IPs, and this is the way I read it, maybe people read it differently, they're not talking about the IPs that are out right now. They're not talking about the Hogwarts Legacy or the Wonder Woman game that's made by Monolith. They're not talking about Suicide Squad, even though Suicide Squad is a live service game. They're talking about the IPs, Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, DC. Going forward, they look at what's happening. They see what's happening with the single-player Hogwarts. I don't think they're going to ruin. They would be stupid to do this, right? Especially after they sold 23 million copies of Hogwarts Legacy, a single-player RPG that's a spin-off of Harry Potter. Now, the IP Harry Potter is this huge thing, hence why they're coming out with new TV shows, hence why if they make a Harry Potter MMO, people will throw their money at the television sets. They'll be like, give it to me, right? That's exactly what they'll do, okay? people don't hate live service games. They hate shitty live service games, okay? They don't hate all movies. They hate shitty writing in movies, okay? So moving forward, Suicide Squad is a live service game, but it's not a live service game as of yet. So people are like, oh, it's a bad... Someone actually commented in one of my comment sections, and if you're here, please speak up, right? Said that they're gatekeeping through season passes. And I'm like, how can they gatekeep something when it's free? It's free. They're not charging you anything for the content that's coming into Suicide Squad. They're not gatekeeping it from you, right? Now, if they were charging $20 and it was coming out the season, yes, that would be gatekeeping. But they're giving it to you for free, and none of it's been implemented yet. There's a store inside Suicide Squad, but there's been no battle pass, and we haven't had any content yet, and that comes out March 28th, I believe, at the very end of this month, okay? But moving forward, I could see a Game of Thrones MMO, right? We're going to talk about Dune Awakening in a second. Can you imagine a Game of Thrones game like what Dune Awakening wants to do, but in Game of Thrones world? Okay? MMO or light MMO type of stuff, right? Or any other type of game, right? Everyone's like, I want that Justice League game. Yeah, you'll get that Justice League game. You'll get that Justice League game that comes in. It's going to be a live service game, the thing that you didn't want, okay? And that's what they're going to do, right? Look at Multiverses. Multiverses is coming back online. It's been closed for almost a year. It shut down in June of 2023. This is that fighting game, Sarge. You remember this? Where it was the WB Multiverses, where like Shaggy was fighting against Batman and Wonder Woman and stuff like that. It's actually a pretty fun game. It's Smash Brothers. But that's coming back out. That's a live service game. That's a game that they didn't cost them a lot to make, and it's going to make money hand over fist because it already made money hand over fist, right? So this is what they're talking about when they say the volatility of AAA games, meaning the volatility of it is that it's volatile because it costs way too much. And we keep bringing up the example because that's what came out, is that The Last of Us, Horizon Zero Dawn were like 200 million plus, and then we have Spider-Man at 315 million plus, and God knows what Wolverine's going to cost if that ever leaks, right? So they're expensive. These games are very expensive, and they don't know if they're going to sell. Hence, Suicide Squad probably cost them $250 million and probably didn't sell very well, right? To make all the money back right away. They want their money back fast, even though they're going to make their money back on it in the long run with this, with either microtransactions or whatnot. But that's what they're talking about, right? They don't want to put 5 years of their time into a single-player game that may or may not be successful like Hogwarts Legacy, right? They would rather put their money and time into a game that took 2 years to make and then can make, quadruple the money.
Reoccurring revenue.
Yeah, reoccurring revenue that comes in. So what do you think of Warner Brothers discussing the AAA consoles, and they're going more towards mobile, they're going towards more free-to-play, they're going more towards live service?
The battle that's going on right now is if the gaming industry can handle the price reflection of what it costs to make a video game now. The battle is if I make a AAA title, they're not happy with make a game, sell a game. So they're trying to find a way to make every game that has reoccurring revenue and some type of MTX or Battle Pass or something. So basically, every game is $100. If you figure it out over time, the game's $100, right? So that being said, the industry is, for lack of a better word, they've pissed away so much money over the last 4 years because of what had happened, and everyone was trapped in their house, that they thought that all that was going to keep going because everybody was just home. That's part of it. But people are starting to wake up. And if you're going to play a game for X number of hours and you're going to have the microtransactions in there, then it's got to be something that keeps you attached for multiple weeks. Like the Genshin Impacts and the Candy Crushes, like there are mobile games that can do that. But people that play games like on console and PC, the majority of these people play for entertainment. And if you keep trying to nickel and dime all of them, like every game's a live service, every game.
Yeah, but
like
they don't need millions of people to play that game. They just need a couple tens of thousands to play that game.
No, I know. But after a while, if that's all you see, if the customer base, all they see is live service games, They might say it's enough. I don't want to look at this anymore. I just want to get a normal game. I just want something play. I just want something to play.
I think if
right?
if you find that person, like if you find those Harry Potter fans and give them a live service game, that's where they'll play. If you find the Star Wars live service game, that's where they'll play. If you find the person that doesn't want live service games, there'll be a game out there, a single player game for them, right? I think more companies are being like grocery stores where there's something for everybody in that store, right? Maybe you don't like dessert, but dessert section's there and someone's going to get dessert. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the way I look at the film industry. That's the way I look at game studios.
The end of the 23 year, all the stats haven't been compiled yet. Somewhere near the end of March or beginning of April, you're going to start hearing stories about, if you can find them, like what the gaming industry made last year and what were the up and coming games, what sold more. Like you're going to get those stats are going to come out and they're going to start to put it together. Like you can't see. We're guessing based on our own experiences and the friends that we play with, but the industry as a whole is much more leaning towards mobile market and that type of thing as opposed to traditional PC and console games.
Yeah.
So we have to wait to see what it is that people are actually buying and playing, and never mind playing, but how long are they playing it? Because they track everything now.
Well,
everything is tracked.
I just did a story earlier today. I haven't played this game in 7 years. Okay, For Honor. Right, the Ubisoft game that came out, the fighting game that came out 8 years ago. It's been 8 years. 35 million people played, bought, whatever. Okay, still supporting. Hasn't been talked about. No one thinks about it. Everyone thought it was a dead game. Okay, but yet it's still here. They're still updating. They have a new. I know that. That's what I'm saying. And this is what I'm saying. And Krebsy earlier looked it up, and it was like 3,500 people playing the game. Right. That's just on Steam. Who knows what's playing on console? My point is that everyone thinks a game is dead, but yet this game's still around 8 years later. That means it's making money. And not only is it making money, it's making good money because the staff is still employed. They're still working on the actual game. The game has updates all the time.
But it depends on how the media talks about it. You can have one guy bring up the For Honor numbers and go, look at this game. It's dead.
Right. It's dead.
3,500 people
8 years
playing this game.
8 years playing.
Right. But the point is that if it has a base of people that are actually playing it and paying money for it, then they're still it's still making money. A real game is only dead when you can no longer play the game. If I can't play the game anymore because the servers are down or whatever else, the game is dead. It's a dead game. I can no longer play this game.
Battleborn.
Right? But if I can actually play the game because you think it's dead, does not make the game dead.
Gigantica, that's coming back out. That was dead. Now it's coming back and they're charging $20 for it.
Even during your weekly podcasts, you guys talk about maybe 15%, 20% of all the games that are being released on a monthly basis. Like nobody's keeping track of all this stuff. The only reason why you actually hear about something is if by chance you have a diverse chat, they like different games, and then that somebody's talking about a game that they played and say, hey, this is kind of fun. I'll share it with these other people who never would fucking look at it.
Right.
And then we get to talk about it because I would never see it. Right? That's the whole point of having like a gaming channel and a good gaming chat is because other people have different tastes in games. There's like 1,000 games or 2,000 games that's going to release in March. You think we're all going to fucking know what 2,000 games are coming out? Right. Nobody can keep track of all that.
My whole point is that there's always a niche market for certain games, and when a game comes out, a brand new game, everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's the greatest, latest game." But if it drops a little thing, it's a dead game. But it's not a dead game. You can't have a game like For Honor that's been around for 8 years and call it dead. It made it 8 years, right? 8 years for a game that no one talks about. There's no articles or anything that they just came out because of an update. And I just find it funny. So when people say like Suicide Squad is dead, I'm like, dude, it's been out for a month. A month. Okay, there's still people playing Anthem 5 years later. Okay, there's still people playing Marvel's Avengers. And then you'll have the people that come in and say, well, those are shit games. Shit game to you, but there's still a player base that plays it. There's still people that play that game. The game, certain games still are making money. Now, Marvel's Avengers not because everything's free now. Anthem's not because the store's closed. But For Honor's still making money. They still have a battle pass. They did a whole roadmap today when they showed the stuff, right? I'm just mind-boggled that game is still... I honestly thought it closed. I thought it was done after like year 4. And here we are 4 years after that, and it's still around. So when people say dead game, I just laugh, because just because you're not playing it doesn't mean it's a dead game. And that dead game moving around is just like a term that people use, but it's not what they mean. It's not what they're using it is not what it means. So let's go to the next one. Let's see. Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima is coming out on PC on May 16th, right? There's two folds here that's happening. A couple of people on the internet, I'll say a couple because I don't know if it's a big group of people, but are upset, right? I've said for years that I'll just wait for it to come on PC. People told me that it's never coming to PC. Well, never's on May 16th now. So I'll potentially buy it May 16th, or I'll wait a little bit. It all depends on what's happening in the gaming industry at that time. I mean, I waited this long. I can wait longer. Okay. But Ghost of Tsushima is coming on PC, and that's fantastic, right? But there's people losing their mind about this. They're like, well, what did I buy a PlayStation 5 for? You guys just ruined the whole industry. And it's like, I don't understand. Like, you had the game for 4 years on PlayStation. Like, this doesn't affect you in any way, shape, or form.
What do you care that somebody else gets to play the game?
Right.
What does that matter?
It's so ridiculous. And they might be trolls, Dave, but there's somebody out there that feels that way. And it's like, it makes no sense, because if they own the game and they've enjoyed the game, to own a game, play a game on a system, and then be upset that someone else can play it is just mind-boggling to me. So maybe now people will leave me alone when they say, well, you don't have a PlayStation 5. How are you going to get all these games? I'll be like, I'll just wait till they come to PC. And here it is, coming to PC. And I'll say it again, as I said it before, and I said it before anyone else said it before. Day and date will happen on PlayStation within this year or 2025. By the end of 2025, we will see day and date of games from Sony, first-party titles, come day and date to PC. Okay? Clip it, and if I'm wrong, I'll be wrong, but I think I won't be wrong, because that's the way the industry's going. That's the way it's going. That's the way they're leaving money on the table. If they don't do that, they're not going to wait till when Wolverine comes out or the next God of War comes out. They're not going to wait till 2028 to make the money off of that, off PC guys. They're going to make the money off those people right away.
I just think that there's so many games coming out. If you're trying to make money when a game releases, you have to release it on as many platforms as possible and just try to capture as much revenue as you can. Because by the time your game comes out, and if you re-release the game 2 or 3 years later, comes to PC, who knows what games are coming out by then, and how much time is being taken up by all these live service games. That when do you have time to play? Right? Time is, forget about price. Time is the factor across the board, right? Right. An average person who's got a family, right, and a job, 3 or 4 hours a week, maybe you have the time to play. Unless you're working from home and you're playing hooky. Otherwise than that, you got stuff to do, right? Outside of that, you're in your teens or 20s. I know all about it. All day gaming, stay home game. It's raining. Thank God it's raining. I want a game. I have put so many hours into games in my late teens and early 20s that I didn't know what anything was going on in the world at the time I was playing so many games. Right? And was I miserable and a fat slob covered in Cheeto dust? No.
What do you mean? When? I'm kidding. You've never been that.
No.
Yeah. The next thing I want to talk about, we're not going to actually talk about it. I'm giving you more information. Okay. So we always talk about, randomly on our channel, we talk about the diversity thing that's happening, the force thing in movies, the force thing in TV shows, the force things in video games. And people always said, it's not a big, I've said it's not a big deal. I played Suicide Squad. I didn't think anything of it. Now, the topic is Sweet Baby Inc. It's everywhere on the internet right now. And right before I went live, there was a video. I did watch it before the show started. We're not going to talk about it in depth, but I would like to give the info out to people, okay, to educate yourself I'm not going to force anything on you. In the description down below, Endymion has a video that just came out. And in his video, if you like Endymion or not, that's up to you. But in his video, he talks about Sweet Baby Inc. and the connection points of not just the one company, but there's 14 to 15 companies, and they're all connected. And they're all doing these things to force people into the actual, to do this type of stuff for the DEI, which is also, diversity, inclusion type stuff, where they get grants and stuff to make these expensive games to force them onto you because this is what they're doing, right? So I'm not going to go into detail here, but the description is down below in our thing. If you want to go educate yourself and you want to know more about the stuff. So it's not just someone saying, oh, this is woke and not using the term correctly, right? Go educate yourself. There's a description down below. Click on Endymion. You can watch the whole video. It's like 20 minutes long or something like that. And then I implore you to go watch other people's videos and get your thoughts and stuff together to choose how you want to deal with it going forward. For instance, they have nothing to do with Major League Baseball, the MLB The Show. But with MLB The Show coming out with the women thing, you can call me sexist, racist, whatever you want to call it. I'm more upset because the MLB The Show, it's a simulator for MLB, and it's not a simulator for MLB. It's now pushing stuff that really doesn't affect me as a person, but I'm not going to spend my money on that game this year, and I'm not even going to play it on Game Pass. I'm not going to give it the time of day. So that's where I stand on certain topics. But go watch the stuff. Go check it out. I don't know if you have anything to say about it, Sarge. If not, we'll move on to Dune Awakening.
I need to do some more research on Sweet Baby Inc.
All right. So Dune Awakening, the creators of this make the Conan Exodus MMOs. They made other MMOs ahead of time. Survival. Sorry, they made a survival. They made other MMOs in the past, and a lot of it they're doing for Dune Awakening. Let me bring up the Dune Awakening. Let me see the Dune Awakening. I'll bring this up, and there'll be no sound. I'll just be playing in the background while we're talking about it. The Dune Awakening, they're saying they're pulling stuff from the old MMOs, the more wide open sandbox type of games that were back in the past. They're big fans. The leaders of this are big fans of the Star Wars Galaxies, which we absolutely loved for that MMO back in the day. And they are pushing this forward as a survival game, as a giant open sandbox MMO with deep skill trees and different proficiencies in different classes that you're going up or skills that you're going to go up, right? So they talked about how there's going to be an economy where you can be a cartographer, where you can go map out stuff, and you could be a blueprint maker and make the buildings and whatnot. And there's going to be a survival element in the game where you have to learn to live off the land, and if you can't get the water from the leaves or from whatever else is out there, you have to drink the blood of the people that are in the world. And there's going to be, the emperor is going to charge you taxes, and there's going to be political stuff happening and different factions. So when you hear about all this stuff, Sarge, and obviously it sounds good on paper, and it does look good. They're using the Unreal Engine 5.2, so obviously visually it looks fantastic. What do you feel as a gamer? Now, I don't know if I know you love Dune. I know you're really interested in the IP, okay? But what do you think when you hear the different classes and what they want to do in this actual game? What the game is? What do you think of it?
I try to stay optimistic when it's an IP that I like, and they're trying to fit it into a genre that I'm okay with. Like, I'm not a huge survival game player. My issue with this type of thing is the nicheness of this game, or the IP at least. I don't know if it has the staying power to keep people in it because it's a survival game. Like, the number of people that know what Dune was before the new movie came out was minuscule. The new movie comes out, I'm sure some people latched onto it because it was a new sci-fi movie, but don't know what it actually is. They just saw it as a sci-fi movie. Now, the complexities of a survival game in a normal world, you have multiple biomes, a lot of resources, things to go look for, animals, like a lot of things going on, a lot of wildlife,
Right.
like in a normal survival game. You basically are taking the genre of a survival game, you're putting it in one biome,
Yeah.
something that has very little life. You're making it PvP, and you're making it like very complex.
Well, there's PvP
right?
sections. Yeah, so
Whatever. Okay. The point being is, I'm not sure the complexity level of this game attached to a survival will have staying power. Will it look amazing? Yes. Will people find it fun? That small group of people who actually like to play survival games and want to give this one a try? Yes. But I don't think the attachment of the movie Dune into the survival game will give this game any staying power at all, because nobody knows what it is. Like, the majority of people don't know what it is, right? You're on a desert planet. Like, I'm trying to be optimistic, right? But I know the gaming community. Like
IGN, too much sand. Yeah.
Right?
He's not saying too much sand. He's saying
it's probably going to be visually amazing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just desert. Right? Now,
Right.
if you were trying to teach me Dune and make a Dune game, and part of it was survival, and then you would go through the game of Dune to understand what Dune is, cool. But the fact that you're just doing a survival game and putting me into this, and then trying to say at the end of you surviving on the desert planet, then we're going to let you build stuff. And I'm like, I'm not sure how to say this in a nice way. The majority of people, not counting the people who like survival games, the majority of people who will play this game after playing it for a couple hours be like, this is fucking boring. It's fucking boring, right? Because I have news for you. Dune, the book and the movies are boring unless you like what that story, actually is.
Yeah.
Right? The complexity and the politics and everything involved in that series, a series of books, is something incredible for those people that enjoy sci-fi and fantasy. But to just slap it onto a survival game, cool for the first 2 weeks.
I see it a little different.
Cool for the first 2 weeks.
I see it a little differently. Robert Jones says, you guys are old. What's up with survival MMOs? The survival MMO, okay, so before World of Warcraft came in, okay, like games like Ultima, Evercrack, or EverQuest is what I call it, Star Wars Galaxies, there's a couple other ones that are in there that I'm missing. They basically, even they said in an article, the owners of the company, when they were making this game, they want to bring back the old type of sandbox MMO survival type game where just think of the survival games as standalone. Think of MOBAs standalone. Think of just that type of games. They took what survival MMOs were in the past and they broke them up into 3 separate games, basically. Okay, so this is just all inclusive, all one game again, where they're trying to bring it in and have the economy. The economy is very, very important in this game.
Ambitious.
Very important in this game.
Very ambitious.
Right. And I know it sounds nerdy and whatnot, but it truly is. If you have a shitty economy in a game like this game dies. Right?
Nice.
You have to have what they're trying to do, at least what it sounds like they're trying to do, is try to do what Star Wars Galaxies did. And there was a tweet I found earlier. The guy's like, it's like, did you actually say you have blueprint, like jobs for blueprinters? Right? And he goes, let me know when you have, what was the skill? Entertainer. Where let me know when you have an entertainer and a tailor, they said, right? And it's funny because when you're thinking of this game, you're just thinking, oh, it's Dune, the movie, it's the IP, but now they're trying to make you live in that world. And when you live in that world, you have to have meaning into that world. And if there's no meaning to have and everyone can do everything, the game just dies. It's literally boring. Because at that point, if everyone can do everything and you're just in a one desert planet and there's nothing changing in this world, except they said weekly, there'll be a certain sections in the map that the sand changes and does different things and it'll expose certain things and hide other things.
Sounds great on paper.
It does. It all sounds great on paper.
Sounds great on paper. Okay, so some of the background, because of the time frame of what it is, because of projectile weapons over the millennia and humans hated wars, they came out with anti-personal shields, right? And so when you wear the anti-personal shield, bullets can't harm you. And so people had to go back to the old ways, and they had to learn how to fight with melee weapons, because the melee weapons, even though they're
can
fast,
go through the shields. Yeah,
they can go through the shield. That's the whole premise of the universe of where you're fucking playing. So when I see the guys running around with guns and flamethrowers and shit, I'm like, yeah, it looks cool, but at the same time, I'm like, well, if you reach that level of technology, you would just have the personal shield, and then you wouldn't have to worry about anybody shooting you, and they'd have to fight you in hand-to-hand combat. So at that point, whoever has the best melee weapon and would win. That's how it usually works, because that's the universe that you're playing in, right? So I'm going to find it hard to balance the survival game premise to what the IP of the actual
world is, right? With the lore and the lore, yeah.
Right? I once again, I don't wish bad upon any game. I've been alive long enough to see when they're trying to mash two things together that just don't go well together. Do I hope it does well? Great. Will there be people who play this game and love it and do videos on it? Yes. But will it have mainstream adoption across the board?
That's going to be the hard part.
No shot.
Yeah. Krebsy says, all I know is that it better show how things work sometimes between now and August if they want to release in 2024, given how deep things will need to be for the game. Here's the thing. We talked about it last night when we were playing Division 2. We were shooting shit while shooting the shit, right? And we were talking about how in-depth like the stuff is. And those of you that heard this, cool. If not, you're going to hear it again. They talked about a cartographer in the game where a person goes around and can map out the world. Okay. Now just think about this in the meaning of, as a gamer, you're like, okay, cool. I'm going up the skill tree. I'm going to be a cartographer so I can map out the land so I can sell that map to Sarge. Okay. Well, if Sarge can get that ability within the first 3 levels or whatever it is, right? And again, we don't know what the levels are. Then there would be no reason for me to sell a map to him if everyone can go up that skill tree and then be a map maker. Okay, so you have to have someone that goes up that thing. Now, because they talk about the world is going to change every week, if I'm a cartographer in the game, do I have to run around every week like a job and then go back around and then remap that area to find the resources and type of stuff? Because if I'm just an explorer, like Sarge is just going out in the world to explore, he's going to take a lot more time not knowing where resources are. But if he buys my map, okay, well then he can find it much faster. It's more efficient. It makes an economy where I can do my job, sell my map. He buys that, more efficient in his job because he's a resource guy. He collects the resources, and then he can make stuff to sell to the blacksmith or whoever else in the world, and that's how the economy works. If everybody can do everything in the game, right, you go up a certain skill tree, get it to a certain point, then get rid of it, but you still know the stuff, it completely kills what the game is trying to do. Same with the blueprint. Person that's making blueprints for houses. If everyone can build a house or buy a basic house, okay, and I build my own first basic house, what's the benefits of having a blueprinter, right? Does the blueprinter, when he builds that house, does that house give ever extra benefits for the person to buy that house, to then build that house, and then has to get the resources to build that house? Like, there's so much that needs to go in by just a guy going, yeah, you could make your own blueprints and sell them. How does that work? How do you go up to certain thing? Are there people that buff? Are there people that are entertainers? Are there people that are tailor? Are there people politically? You know what I mean? Like, how does this all work? If I'm a fighter, do I work my way up to be a fighter and then become promoted in that clan? And I know this is all generic, but this is all very important in the world and lore that they're building in with inside of Dune, right?
The complexities of an MMO are always incredibly difficult to balance. If you're saying MMO and there's got to be an economy, then there's got to be some type of real economy. If it's player-based, that's great, but that would mean that you, as a person playing the game, you would not be able to go into every skill tree possible,
right?
Because otherwise there would be no reason for an economy. Everybody would just be able to do everything that they need, and they don't need to rely on anybody else.
Right.
Right? So which version are you speaking about? Because if you're talking to me like a survival game, and I'm on a desert planet, I've got the list in my head. But now you're saying that once this list is complete, then it's no longer a survival game. Now you're actually living on Dune. And at that point, then I have to decide whether or not I'm going to use other people for economy purposes or just kill them and take their shit.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
what do you think is going to happen? Like, I don't pick a side. You can't say everything, right? That's why it's so convoluted at this point. I'm like, I'll just wait for a video and I'm waiting for the developers to sit down and explain it to me, because the way you guys are talking about it, it's not what you're talking about.
So basically, get this, right? I'm a cartographer, but I don't have any skills in fighting because I put all my skills towards scavenging or whatever, okay? And mapping out stuff. Sarge's skills is out in fighting. He sees me out in the world in PvP, kills me, and takes my shit. Does he get my map now? Does he have the map to now do the stuff? Right? Do you see what I'm saying? There's a lot that could go on. And people that don't understand this, if you ever played in a Minecraft multiplayer server where they have their own economy in the game, in the very beginning, they would use like, oh, well, you have to dig to become more efficient. So everyone would just dig and become an efficient in digging. And then they would mine and they become more efficient in mining. And there was no reason for anyone, because everyone could do everything and there was no economy. It was just do your own shit, be your own thing. And there wasn't an MMO. It was just a single player people all playing together just to level up stuff. There was no point.
So you pick, like they said, you're going to pick a class or something. Oh, that's great. You pick a class. Here's my next question. Well, what group of people are you with? Are you with the Atreides? Are you with the Harkonnen? Are you with the Ordos? Are you with the pirates? Are you with the?
They said that there's only two factions in this as of right now. I don't know what that means. If it's two main factions and other factions are coming down the line, I don't know.
Well, they said there's going to be two factions. Did they tell you which ones?
No, they did not. They just said there's going to be two factions. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think they're using the two factions as the story type of thing to move the story.
Well, if it's two factions and it's got to be people understand what's going on, then it's going to be Atreides and Harkonnen. Those are the two main ones based on the movie that would make sense. Otherwise, there's like other houses that you can be part of. Now, what's the story of you being in the middle of nowhere?
Right.
Are you some criminal in the desert someplace? Because criminals, they just execute and they use your fluids for sustenance. Like, they don't just drop people off in the sand and waste water. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to understand the religious and psychological thing that of the entire universe you're speaking about. You're just saying it's a survival game on Dune. That's what it is. Just enjoy yourself. Like, that's not how this works.
Yeah. Well,
it's not what it is.
I think visually though, I think just, minus all of the stuff that we're talking about now to be in depth, I think the game looks visually stunning, right? With the Unreal Engine 5. I think it looks really cool the way they're doing the building, and then the like I was asking earlier because they showed a scene where one of the vehicles is crash landed, and he's over there and he's like, I thought he was sawing it off to like get scavenging parts, but he was actually repairing it. And my thought process was, can you do that? If you find a broken vehicle on the ground, if you have the parts, can you scavenge it and take it apart, or can you add to it, like sort of like a No Man's Sky where you find a ship and you can repair that ship and then use that ship? Is it something along the lines of that, right? And then there's also with the factions and with the stuff that they're talking about with the factions, they didn't say too much about it. Obviously, there's going to be story to push the story forward and whatnot, but can you, sort of like Star Wars Galaxies, right? Yeah. Can you be a part of that faction and then move up the ranks in that faction? Or are you just a rando in that faction just playing the part? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you playing a part, or can you manipulate and change things in that faction?
There's so much. My brain's overloaded. The timeline of events that lead up to what Dune actually is a timeline of mankind from present day where we are now to where they are. And the whole story that Frank Herbert wrote was this entire complex saga of how we got to be at that point, like why we got to be at that point, like what happened over these millennia. Like, the story is incredible. The man did a lot of psychedelics. I don't know if you know that. If you guys want to do
that's usually how good art gets made, actually.
Right? Yeah, if you want to do some research, look up Frank Herbert and look up his life and what he wrote over the years. Like, he was into a lot of psychedelics. That's the only reason why he came up with this stuff, right? It's a really, really good story, but it's very, very complicated.
It's a slow burn. Yeah.
Right. Right. Exactly. it's intriguing to me that they attached it to this, right? I'm sure it looks visually stunning. The architecture looks stunning. But to go from a survival game to this, I'm gonna get to build stuff and go around and do
Very
things
political.
like, that is a large gap, a huge gap. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you can't get past the first 4 hours of this game, you're probably not gonna get it. Like, the first 4 hours of this game is probably incredibly hard because you're on the desert world where there is no water, no wood, no life, really. There's a few creatures running around, and you're supposed to travel around. They said in the little blurb, they said, you're supposed to travel around at night because you can't walk around during the day because you'll die. And I'm like, okay, let's just take that for face value. If that's the case, how long is the day-night cycle? And what the fuck am I doing during the day that I can't go anywhere because I'm gonna fucking die, right? Yeah. Are you guys putting it all together? Like, it's not just a normal survival game. Like, you're in the middle of the fucking woods someplace. You got to chop wood and find some shit to kill to eat. It's not the same. It's not. I don't know. Please do some research on Dune. Like, I don't know how else to explain this to you.
It'd be interesting to see how they do it. I mean, they have to gamify it. Right? And that goes against what you know what I'm saying. Anyway, we'll move on. I like what Tempest.
I'm trying to be honest. Look up Dune. Like, look up the whole thing about it. Like, it's not like a normal survival game. Like, you're in Russia. I'm dropping you off in Siberia. Go. The goal is to get back to the United States. I'm dropping you off in Siberia. Go. You'll be like, this is awesome. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna kill a wolf. Gonna chop down some trees
with my bare hands.
Right? I got some stuff to do. I'm gonna do this. Now I'm gonna put you on a desert world. No water, no food. Can't walk during the day. Like,
here, Sarge.
It sounds so intriguing. Like,
no,
how much do you have in the first 4 hours?
I'm gonna set it up for you. This is how you're gonna survive. Are you ready? You're a criminal getting transferred to one place or another. The ship crash lands in the desert.
Right.
You scavenge and you get some water and stuff just to survive long enough so you can get to yourself to the side because the worm's going to attack you. So you get to the side and you save yourself. That's where you establish your small little hut made of rocks.
I'm gonna tell you the first 2 weeks this game's out. You ready? The first 2 weeks this game's out, it's going to be so hardcore that people are going to be turned off by it. And so the developers will then give you a paid still suit to buy so you don't die during the desert days so you can actually do what you want to do. And they'll charge you for the still suit so you don't die. So it turns on easy mode for the first 4 hours. I can guarantee it.
I hope they don't do that.
I can guarantee it.
I hope they don't do that. That'll ruin the whole fucking thing.
I swear to God, they're going to cry and they're going to make you buy a still suit. If you have a still suit, the game's normal. It's no longer a survival game. And if I have a still suit, we're good.
I hope they don't do that. All right. We're gonna move on from that. Look, I am excited. They have betas running. I signed up for the beta. Hopefully I get in to tell you if it's super hardcore or not. Yeah, I hope it's good. I do. I honestly hope it's good because I really like when they were talking about Star Wars Galaxies and they're fans of Star Wars Galaxies. There hasn't been an MMO since then. Right, like that game, what they do with politically, skill tree wise, all that stuff. And if they implement what they were doing in Star Wars Galaxies into this game, I might be interested in it because I'm interested in the IP. Right, another IP I'm interested in, Sarge. You're a big fan of the game Fallout. The Fallout TV series is coming out in April 11th. It's coming on Amazon Prime. They're dropping all the episodes in one shot. Right, we're gonna show it.
I'm just thankful that I have Amazon Prime.
Well, I'm gonna show it in the background here while we talk about it. I think I'm very surprised.
It looks good.
It does look good. It does look good. My only negative look at filming wise of what it is, it's too clean looking.
Yes.
I wish there was some sort of grainy,
like the Hobbit movies.
It looks too clean, like the Hobbit.
It's too clean.
Yes.
Yep.
Visually, though, it looks really good. The armors, the ghouls, the world they built, Mr. Handy, everything about it looks really good. It feels it, but it looks just too clean. I feel like they should have put some sort of grain on it to make it feel more Fallout-y. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? But it looks very interesting. I haven't been excited about a lot of things in television over the last couple of years. Yeah, exactly, Jason. It's too bright, not dirty enough. It just looks kind of weird. Sarge said it the best. It looks like The Hobbit.
it looks like someone's trying to sell you a model home, and all the furniture in there is pristine, like everything is placed perfectly. Like, do the guys who know what a post-apocalyptic world looks like when you have stuff around, like nobody's just putting stuff on shelves, like it looks like it was set up, like someone set up the room. Like, I know they set it up, but you're supposed to set it up to where it looks like it's not set up. Right?
I'm not sure when it takes place, Dupless. I haven't done my research yet. I know they're in Vault 33, if I'm not mistaken. But they did a lot filming wise. They've done a lot of practical stuff in this, and I respect that, and I think that's why it looks visually good, right? Like they did practical stuff. I mean, look at this. Look at the armor. Obviously, they didn't build that fucking blimp, right? That's CGI. There's CGI in this, but for the most part, the stuff, the ghoul, okay, that's makeup. That's not CGI. He was sitting in the makeup chair for hours and hours and hours to get that on, and that's.
I just want to know how they did the nose. The nose looks really good. How did they do that nose?
That's probably CGI. Yeah, it's CGI, probably
right.
They would probably do it later. They would put all the makeup on his face and then just remove, and remove it. Yeah. But I'm really surprised by this, and yeah, like that's Red Skull, right? So I'm again my biggest criticism is that it's too freaking clean looking.
Writing will be everything for this.
The little bits and pieces I heard, the writing, it looks like it's going to have the Fallout humor type of stuff that's inside the game itself. So we'll see. I'm interested. I hope it's really good. The whole season's going to be out at one shot, so they're dropping it all in one go. I don't know how many episodes there are. Chad, do you guys know how many episodes? They could put either paint, like it would be like green, right? Or they put like little dots on the nose. So when they go to post, they just remove it and whatnot, and they know where to go. There's a lot of stuff they do. So all episodes on Prime.
I mean, I would really hope the writing is done well. If the writing's done well, then it's an interesting take on a video game that's done as a show. I would watch it.
Is it 8 episodes, Scrubsy? Thank you.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, look, like I said, I haven't been very excited. Now, obviously, there's always that in the back of my mind. It's like, how are they going to fuck this up? Right? Like, how are they going to fuck this up?
I'm more interested in knowing how the I'm not in with the lingo for movies and television. How the setup will go for character development. Is it following one person and she just keeps running into all these people, or is it almost like Westworld where like there's multiple stories going on, and a segment of the show is focusing on what's going on with these people, and then later on a segment of the show is focusing on what these people are doing. Like
I said the same thing,
and then maybe they run into each other.
That's exactly what I said.
But it's not just we're following the girl and whoever she runs into, then that's the story for that episode.
I think you're gonna find. I think I did the example earlier today when I was talking about that it would be like The Walking Dead. You know, like they follow one person for a majority of the episode and they switch to the other one, or it's one episode completely based on that. So, for instance, the 3 main characters here, I'll show you. They actually have this the toys. Right, this is actually pretty cool. The 3 main characters, they have these toys out where it's the Ghoul, Maximus, and Lucy. Right, these are Todd McFarlane 6-inch figures. Right,
the only guy who can still make toys.
Yeah, they're $24 a piece, and you can buy all 3 of them. I think for like you're saving like $30 or some shit like that, or $20. But basically. What the hell was I saying? I just lost what I was saying, Sarge. Bring me back.
You're talking about the figures. You're talking about the toys, right? You're
talking the way they're gonna film it, like who they're gonna go follow, right? I feel like they'll follow the Ghoul, right? They'll follow the girl, Lucy. They'll follow Maximus, and they'll follow the Ghoul, and then they'll have an episode together. So like episode 1 might be Lucy. Episode 2 might be she runs into the Ghoul, and then the Ghoul is his backstory of what the Ghoul is.
He talks about it,
and then they run into Maximus, and then they all move together for the last episodes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 type of thing. I think they do something along the lines of that because they have to establish the story, or they bounce back and forth between all of them, and then as they meet each other, then it stays with them longer. You know what I'm saying?
And how much exposition? do you just talk about things as if people understood them and know them already, or are you going to explain everything as you go through the episode, and half the episode is going to be wasted on expletive, basically explanations of everything because no one knows what the fuck it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to do the writing where the whole half the episode is all you trying to explain the world to me, where the people who watch the show should know, like, all right, we know all the stuff, so just let's have a show.
Yeah.
Right?
I think
like, which way do you go there?
Well, it was Jonathan Nolan. Nolan's brother who did the first season of Westworld is doing this. So I think it's good. I look. I'll be honest. This looks 1,000 times better than the Halo series. Okay, 1,000 times better. I've never watched the Halo series.
Halo series looks decent,
but just the first season of Halo, the way they showed it, it didn't like awe me. This looks a lot better. Plus the casting and stuff in this one, I feel is better as well. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm actually excited for a show. Someone said it earlier. One of the best shows on TV right now on Amazon Prime is Reacher. Season 1 of Reacher, I think, is better than season 2, but I really like season 2 as well. But it's a really good show. So there are shows out there that are good, and hopefully we're getting better shows, and hopefully this is a good show because I would like to see a Fallout series TV show. I
would like a sci-fi television series that's written well. There hasn't been one in a while. The Expanse, someone mentioned it in chat. Expanse is good. You know, back many years ago, Babylon 5 was really good. Before Doctor Who went off the rails, Doctor Who was good. Star Trek, The Next Generation, and the Voyager series, they were good. But like, there hasn't been anything really stand out that this is done well.
Dave says that Nolan also did the Person of Interest. That's really good. I didn't see that one. I'll have to check that out. Season 1 is better. I prefer Reacher on his own. Same, Salty. I prefer, not to ruin it for anybody, but I like him on his own. I hope season 3 that comes out, he goes back to being by himself. I like him meeting up with his buddies, but I don't like the whole. I'm on episode 6 of 8, so hopefully it closes out and then it goes back to being by himself. Yeah, Stargate CJ1 was okay. Andor, everyone says Andor's good. What's it called? Creature tells me to go watch it, so I might watch it when I have nothing else to do. But you know,
but Andor to me, the reason why I don't watch it because I already know there's no drama. No matter what happens to him, I already know the answer.
Yeah, but they say there is drama, just not with him. You know,
right?
Yeah,
but he's the main character. So anybody else in his circle, they die or don't die. Like, as far as I'm concerned, you're a terrorist, right? You're basically trying to help the rebels. The story of how you got to be where you were and did what you had to do. Like, I got it.
Arcane was phenomenal. Arcane, yeah, that was a good show. I watched it like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever the fuck it came out. Yeah, you know how it ends, right? Andor, just like, okay, great. You know,
yes, it's a good story, but I know what happened. I know what happens.
All right, so we'll stay live for about 10 more minutes. Anyone that's a member, you can ask us in chat. Put at 30NSG in front of your question. You can ask Sarge a question. You can ask me a question. It could be over the topics. It could be pretty much anything. We don't have to answer your question, but you can ask your question in chat if you are a paid member.
All right, so I watched the first Dune on television. I watched it on Netflix, right? And I was going to go see the second one, but then my friend told me, he's like, I watched the second one, and now you have to wait for the third one. I'm like, what? I'm like, they're stretching it out to
2026,
third movie,
2027.
And I said, so did they actually do the conclusion of how the movie ends normally? And then he's like, yeah. And then like, so what's the third movie for? Like, what are they going to now? What?
Yeah. I didn't watch it. 2. I watched 1.
Yeah, I gotta watch it. I gotta go watch it, find out what's going on.
Quest says, what would you like to see in Hogwarts DLC? I would like to see more story, but it's really weird to answer that question because Hogwarts Legacy, how would they implement the DLC? Because it takes place during the school year, and the school year is over by the time that you're done with the story. So does the DLC take place over the summer? Does it take place of like you come in early before the next year? You see what I'm saying? It's a little weird the way the DLC is. But to answer your question, I would like to see more areas of the map, maybe different missions that you can do over there. But again, it's weird because you're done with the school year, and the story is based on the school year. So I'm a little confused by that. I'm a little confused on how the mission that was on PlayStation is going to be implemented into this game when I'm done with the story. So now I log back in, I go back into my save game, but now I'm going to go to the city, and how's it gonna connect? I don't know. So I kind of answered your question. I would like to see a little bit more areas of the map.
I think the game was done as a one and done. The only way you can make a DLC for Hogwarts Legacy is if you went to the other schools. And a different story.
But then that's just making a live service game, is it not?
No, you're making another game.
Oh, another game. Yeah.
You're not a complete story about another school in a different area. Everything's different because it's a different country, different setting, different whatever.
So that's not DLC though. That's a separate game.
But they're connected.
Sure, but that's a separate game. That's not DLC. Dave says, Mike, any interest in Dragon's Dogma? Yes and no. I'm interested in it, but I know it's a bigger game, and I don't have time for bigger games. So I don't want to sit down and play another 70, 80, 100-hour game. And I didn't play Dragon's Dogma 1, so I think I would be kind of lost. And I don't have time to go back and play Dragon Dogma 1. So
the answer to Water Bear's question, the resurgence of MMOs. Well, this year and next year, I think, is the resurgence of the RTSs because it's been talked about for the last couple of years. And so now these are the years that are supposed to release them. So RTSs is supposed to be this year and next year. As far as the MMOs go, let's put it this way. If I had the time to play an MMO, I think some of the MMOs that they came out with now are really fun. The issue is that because of the way that they're structuring the games that they're releasing right now that are not MMOs are so time sensitive and so reoccurring that you have to be inside these games on a weekly or a couple times a week that I don't know whether or not people will attach themselves to a new MMO because they know the time required to be involved in it.
Right.
So you're going to have smaller populations. Maybe that's better. Maybe only 10,000 or 20,000 people play it after the initial people who buy it. I mean, maybe that'll go over well, but Water, you've been around a long time. You know that to come out with an MMO today, the level that you have to be at to keep people engaged in that MMO, you would have to have something special. You can't just make an MMO. It's way too labor intensive, way too much money put into it. You got to make sure that you're firing on all cylinders on the day you release it. It's got to be good. And you still to this day you still have games that are MMOs that are still running because those games knew what they were doing then, and they're even though they might be struggling now, but they still exist. They're still there.
I think you get a different type of MMO. I don't think you get the massive multiplayer online MMO. You get like a hybrid now of like what Fallout 76 is, where thousands and thousands of people are playing, but the servers are smaller, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's like instead of 1,000 people on a mega server, 10,000 people on a mega server, you're getting like 100 people, and it's just smaller, so it always feels like it's populated. It always feels, and if let's say, I'll just take World of Warcraft as an example, Alliance versus the Horde. Well, if you're an alliance, you're alliance across all the boards, so it's still you're working as a whole as you're not always stuck on that server. You know what I'm saying? Like you're in that world, and you can go in and out in your alliance, or if you log in, your house is not there type of thing, you can bring it there or move it. I think there's going to be more games like Fallout 76 in that type of genre where lots of people can play, but you don't need thousands and thousands of people to keep it populated. It feels populated because it's smaller, but yet there's thousands of people playing, just not thousands of people on that server. I don't know. That's the way I feel.
I mean, we'll see what happens. I'd like to see who's throwing their hat in the ring to make an MMO in present day. Like who's spending the resources to make it, to gamble, and that's what it really is, to gamble on an MMO present day, right? If you were able to make a game, I don't want to say like maybe like another type of game like Fallout 76 is, where it's not quite like an MMO, but it is like a hybrid version of a MMO, then maybe that would go over better.
That's what I'm saying.
You know,
because look at what like Grand Theft Auto is doing. Grand Theft Auto Online is an MMO, but it's 16 people on a server, or 32 people on the server, right?
Right, because otherwise it'd be total chaos.
Right, and then same with Fallout 76. It's smaller servers. There's other things like that as well. I just think they bring down the player base a little bit more. I don't know. Let me see. Any other questions? I haven't researched, but I think the problem with the their company is selling stuff. You talk about the one that Nintendo's suing? That Nintendo sued? Let me see anything else. Guys, where's Transformers gameplay reveal on Reactivate? Tell me what you know. I have water. There's supposed to be something coming out real soon about Transformers Reactivate, but that's coming from people that are just saying rumors and whatnot. But we'll see. Supposedly there's supposed to be some sort of news happening within the next, like, this month or April about Transformers Reactivate, and we'll see. Waterbear says, I think GTA 6 will be a games as a service and turns out to be an MMO after the campaign, similar to GTA Online. Yeah, I think that's where you see a lot of stuff go. But I do believe there's a spot though for MMOs, like Dune Awakening and stuff. All right, that's gonna do it. I was going to play some Helldivers tonight, but I have to edit some stuff for this weekend. So there is no show tomorrow on Lono's podcast. I have to go to my son's school. We had a meeting with his teachers and stuff like that. Nothing bad, but it's during the time slot of the podcast, so I won't be doing a podcast tomorrow. I don't think there's a show. I don't think he's doing a show either. We do appreciate you coming out. Episode 386 is in the can. If you like what we do here, please make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you like to go above and beyond that, you can watch some of our other videos, and you can also become a member as little as $5. We do live streams, or I do live streams Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We do uploads, we do gameplay, we do podcasts. I have other guests lined up in the upcoming weeks and months that are not just gamers, but other YouTube personalities on the web that I have interest in, that I would like to learn from or hear their stories of what they've done. So stay tuned for all that. Appreciate it very much. You guys have a great rest of your evening, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.
Game on, guys.
They're two brothers and gamers that have been playing games since the early 1980s. Combined, they have over 65 years experience. Join them each week as they discuss and rant about gaming and entertainment news. This is Generation X Gaming.